But it was miserable, man. It was a miserable existence. I knew I couldn't sustain the pills like I was doing.
I was like, we think he might be connected with the Teamsters. It's
Kate asked for help.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Mind Over Madness. If it's your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. This is, I believe, Keith, is this our first one where we have a guest live?
Yeah, we had what's this? I'm sorry, man. The guy talked about 9/11 for a little bit last week, but
oh no, Jay, yeah, Jordan, yeah, okay, yeah. But as in full episode, which we're gonna do also though, Tim. What was I gonna say? This is like our first complete full episode though with Bobby Bright. I'm wearing the Suffering Podcast, Kevin Donaldson. Bobby's good friends with Kevin.
Okay, are you?
One of those shirts. I'll ask Kevin to send me one. Yeah, what a beautiful man he is.
Bobby, tell Keith about Kevin.
Kevin's just one of those guys. He's like us, down to earth, beautiful guy. He's got a heart of gold, and there ain't nothing he wouldn't do for you.
Yeah. No, I mean I was on Kevin's show about a little over a year ago, and I actually saw him on the Loomis show, and it was just something about that, man. I said, dude, you got to hook me up with this Loomis guy, and he introduced me to Loomis, and it just kind of took off from there, man. Yeah, Kevin's a great dude.
Well, we got two, like same thing. When I saw him with Eric, man, I said, who is this man? I and I've actually called him when I was in a little bit of a down about certain things, like just advice, counsel, and he didn't have to do that. Like Eric always says, one best thing you could give to somebody is your time, right?
Yep.
And he doesn't bullshit you. He's genuine. He's dead on, man, and he makes sense. It's logic and common sense.
Yeah.
Right. He's not.
Yeah. So what happened was
his ego or like he's generally into helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was I was all tied up though with my father, and then I just asked Kevin, I'm like, hey man, could you help out though one of my friends or whatever, this or that? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And next thing you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, nah, this or that. You know how some people preach on the internet and they're not really what they preach. But Kevin though immediately though took the reins and talked to Bobby for hours, and I'm sure they still talk and stuff, and to help them out, Bobby was going through some shit.
He even uses me as example on his show. When you guys are on there, he didn't have to do that, but just he was impressed on how I was down here and came up, right? And I didn't even really know him, didn't even meet him yet then, wow.
Yeah, when I met Kevin, same thing when I met Loomis, man. It's just God put certain people in your life, and you can kind of tell right away.
Yeah, for a reason.
A genuine person.
Yeah, I believe certain people are put in their lives for a reason, man. Like that's gross, right?
That's Kevin's book called "Man, You Are Crazy" with Chris Anderson and Kevin P. Donaldson. Wow. That's on Amazon.
I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah, and I know that was just great. Like when he did that, I was like, oh, he's really the real deal though, because he didn't have to do that. He took the time. I was like, hey, Kevin, man, my one buddy, Bobby, I can't talk to him now because I'm handling my old man. He's like, give me his number right away. And fucking called him up. And, not a lot of people are genuine like that. And Keith, like,
I know. I couldn't believe it. Just how wise and calm and respectful, and like, you know, like, wow, I was blown away, man. And I talked to him several times after that, you know. And
yeah, I've used Kevin. I have, since I did a show, I constantly stayed in contact with him. And yeah, man, when I'm going through some shit, he's, you know, my two go-to
no, he's
guys
definitely a good
Kevin
one.
and
Though.
Loomis, man.
yeah,
Always
because
available.
he knows, he points out we're our worst enemies. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. The worst enemy is the one that is the one in the mirror, the one in the mirror. But Bilal, thank you very much. Jordan, thank you very much. Keith Shibley, how you doing out there, Keith? Thank you very much. Matt Patunos, my man, thank you. OG Ruby in the house. Everyone, if you don't mind, you get on live chat, hit that like button. Helps get this moving. Subscribe up. Baz, how you doing? Matt, as always, and I just want to make sure that we got everyone here. And then I agree with that, guys. Like my best friend tells me all the time, he thinks we were brought together for a reason. And I'm talking to this girl who says the same thing. Yeah, a lot of girls told me that too, pal. So just be careful. But
that used to be one of my lines.
yeah, right. I'm not trying. Yo, Keith, you need one of these.
I'm getting one. I got to get one, man.
You'd be matching with me and Bobby right now. I got like 12 of them, buddy. I'll mail you one. But listen, we're gonna get into at the end of the show something that's special about a video that we put up earlier about an anniversary with Keith. But Bobby's the guest right now, and we would have done something big on that, Keith. But you, even for with time, everything shit just loses.
It's been a crazy week, bro. The past 2 weeks have been nuts.
Yeah, dude, insane, crazy 2 weeks. But Bobby, why don't you do it, man? Like you're on a whole new show now, not on my show. Like remember the hard life with Bobby Bright?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you get into it, man, and start letting us, take it back, man, to I remember the freezing cold stories, all that type of stuff. And, then with you and Dean, R.I.P. to Dean.
Yeah.
And Dean, just so you know, Keith, was a professional stuntman. He was in Cinderella Man. He did the boxing and all that. But is it okay to say, Bob, he was he was a gangster?
Yeah. I read a couple articles. I looked them up just to kind of.
Bobby was, I should say, though, in the gang life, gangsterized, and had him and Dean run-ins with the prosciuttos and all that. So I think this is interesting, having me, Bobby, and then Keith. Keith's a cop, but Bob, I'm going to tell you something about Keith. If Keith was born in like Staten Island, I think he'd go the other way. I'm just saying though, like he has that mentality. He's not robotic,
No, what it is, like in my neighborhood, some people became cops, some people became firemen, and some people became construction workers. It all depends on who you know, who you're influencing. Plus, unemployment, even back when we were young, wasn't all that great. Like, I mean, you go to who you know, right? And that's it, right?
Yeah,
so
but I was always like, it's the people like God, like who watch Goodfellas too many times or whatever, like, oh, fuck the police or whatever. I know more gangsters who have respect though for the fucking police than fucking actual people.
So do I. Police are
human. You are one, and you even said no. You guys either played poker with them, you had them on the payroll, the whole night. Canada.
Yeah. Well, Canada is like New York in the 70s, but everybody's human. If I meet somebody, I don't care what they do. If you're a gentleman, you have, honor, some sort, respectful manner, doesn't matter,
So let me let everyone know in the chat. We're going to get to you. We're going to let Bobby tell his story. And go ahead, Bobby. Start it off from the beginning.
Bobby, real quick before you start, because I'll forget because my brain is like squirrel brain. That Netflix series about the mob in Canada. You know which one I'm talking about? Was that pretty legit?
Is that the one
based on real people?
Who is the star of the show?
Oh, man,
there's been a couple.
I'll look it up.
But there's I actually never seen the one that they had out on Netflix, but it's pretty. They got it wrong because the reason why. It is you have that Bernstein guy, and he always says that he's got an inside scoop. That's just nonsense.
Well, Bobby, here real quick. Netflix features several crime series and documentaries with a Canadian connection, including the drama Bad Blood, which explores the Montreal Mafia, and the documentary What Jennifer Did, about a Canadian woman who orchestrated her parents' murder. You can also find content related to Canadian. Listen, there's so much Canadian. So listen, Keith, I don't know if you know this. Canada is just like how New York was back in the 70s. It's still the Wild West.
Yeah. See, the thing with those documentaries is that from British Columbia to Newfoundland in our country is all organized crime.
Wow.
Okay. You have every creed, race, are all organized crime. You know what I mean? There's, and some of the stories, like the first one, the Bad Blood, that was a little far fetched. I seen that series, but after
that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
They make a lot of them are far fetched. A lot. They
portrayed Rizzuto like, and
Rizzuto was like the John Gotti of Canada.
And his right hand man, I was thinking his right hand man when I met him was Ronaldo Jardin. Wasn't he wasn't his Irishman, whatever. Right? But anyways,
what that guy though was.
But pretty much when he was smart. He got all the crews together, working together, and then when he went away, that's when it all fell apart because, that's just the way it happened. Men, right, all want that power, all want to be number one. Like, they're not going to kick up when somebody's in prison. It's just they will for a while, but then after a while, the ego comes in, and then the power, because a lot of guys will go to his second in charge, and and that'll go in it, and he wasn't even Italian, So
yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Bobby, bringing it back, and I know you're doing great now, which is always great to hear. But we always have our battles and stuff like that. But bring it back to the beginning, though, man. Like I said, and we'll go through it like that, man. Tell your story. It's quite a story, and Bobby's the type of guy. Keith.
Froze again, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, Bobby, I've always been like just I've always just loved mafia stuff. It just intrigues me. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah. And I know because I'm Lebanese. So like, when my grandparents came over here, they were in Detroit, and my grandmother, my mom's mom, was one of like 12, and there's several stories about several of my great uncles that were affiliated with
for sure.
There. And then when they moved to Richmond, we actually found a newspaper article from, I don't know, it's probably mid 50s, something like that, where one of my uncles got he did a lot of time dealing with some New York people came down, and they went and did a job, and it didn't go so well. So yeah, I've always just been, it's just, like you said, you grow up, you play cops and robbers, and then a lot of times like that's where you go in real life too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of times it's even doing cop stuff, it's the adrenaline rush of, for sure, investigating and trying to capture, you know what I mean? And it's just like your kids. Yeah. It's just like playing in the backyard, man. So you get hooked on that.
Yeah. And the thing is that I'm sure you're indoctrinated on how you guys handle guys like me, and I'm indoctrinated. You know what I mean? At to evade police. You know what I mean? Right. So, but the main thing is the influence that when you join an organization or whatever, is that it's pure. I didn't know it then, but when you think about it now, we were indoctrinated. You know what I mean? Like the coast and order, they take oaths and all that. The police take oath to protect and serve the Constitution, foreign demand, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But real life stuff on the street, they're the words. At the end of the day, you want to get home safe. You want to make some money, and you know what I mean? Like we're getting paid, and vice versa, right? So
yeah, the craziest thing that just looking at like mafia history and gang history and like all that stuff is the no rats, no snitch and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just based on my 23 years experience. You get a good enough charge on anybody, and they'll rat their mother out if they have to sometimes. You know what I mean?
For
So,
sure.
but you're right. You are indoctrinated growing up into believing like that's what it really is. And then once you get into it for so long, the curtain kind of opens up.
Yeah.
You're like,
Well, you guys have your police have the blue line, right? You know, right? I can tell you stories on that when that was crossed. First-hand experience with a friend of mine, and we have our stuff too. That, you know, our man of word and all that, and we break that too. And it all depends on how higher you up and what you think you're entitled to. Has a lot to do with it. You know, entitlement, right? So,
and then, like you said, the more power people get, whether they get promoted to be a high-ranking police officer or high-ranking whatever, the ego starts coming.
Then pretty soon you're fighting among yourselves.
I tell, like, people mention the blue line stuff all the time, and I just kind of chuckle, man, because I tell you what, cops nowadays, man, there is no, it's most cops get in trouble by other cops. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, a lot of times they're doing the right thing by doing it, but the days of like the 70s and 80s of cops like just turning a blind eye to stuff it's been gone, man.
Well, I mean, but look what you get paid for putting your lives on the line, like you know, you got a mortgage, when your child gets sick, your insurance covers some stuff, but not everything. I've seen a lot of people with, you know, that I know in America that their lives were totally, they did everything right their whole life, stayed out of the rackets and all that. All of a sudden, a sick child, and all of a sudden, depending on how long the child's sick, the insurance will cover. After a certain amount, forget about it.
Yeah.
Like banks and insurance companies are the worst. Like, you know, like they should be in jail.
But I mean, it is because, and then a lot of times, I mean, that's when you know, people like even when I was at work for the FBI for 10 years on a task force, you know, you had to give yearly financial statements because it's a vulnerability. Because you know, you have a sick child and now you're 3 months, 5 months late on your mortgage. Now you're vulnerable for somebody coming up and giving you a bag of money to do. And it's like, then you have to choose. You're like, do I pay my really sick kids' medical bills and risk it? You know, it is, man. It's a tough one for some people.
Yeah, it is. Even for me, even like I always had a job when I worked with my kids. When something would come up, man, it was like I'm exposing myself. I always try to keep quiet, but I knew if I got exposed there, I'd lose my job, right?
Yeah.
So income, you know, right? And I tell you, everybody gets that one moment where it's the moment of truth for you. You either suck it up or, you know, especially when it comes to your kids. Like I don't know, like I can tell just by looking at it that you would do anything for your children. You know what I mean? And
I was even saying with that whole with the event that just happened with the Charlie Kirk thing, his dad was the one that turned him in.
Yeah,
I was like, I
wouldn't go that far.
I'll probably be buying my, I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent. I might be buying my kid a plane ticket to Mexico. You know what I mean? I just, that would be a very, very tough situation.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I never served my child up. I would, you know, use whatever I got, and then he's on his own, right? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, but
well, I don't know where Loomis went. I'm going to text him, but I don't know your story. So if you want to go back and start where.
Yeah, okay. I grew up in East End, Toronto, called Flemington Park. It used to be nicknamed Little Detroit because of all the murders, right? Because in Detroit at that time in the 70s, it was the murder capital of America, right?
Okay.
And so that's the reputation we got. So we had every race, but everybody, you know, was lots of organized crime, you know, right? And we seen it, you know. We used to go to school and there'd be a dead body on the sidewalk, right? And everybody knew who did it, but you know, so you learn at a young age, our neighborhood, you don't say nothing, you mind your business. But anyways, I have two sisters, one older, one younger. My father left us. I think I was in grade 3, and my mom was raising all of us, which she fell apart when my father left. He left her for another woman, and my mother married him back in the, in the 50s. When you get a woman pregnant, you got married.
Yep.
So I grew up with a single mother, and I was Joe the athlete at school. So
Take it over. Go on.
All right.
So anyway, school for me, without anybody kicking me in my ass, was I just show up and play sports, and that's all they really cared about. So I learned that at a very young age, that school are more important about putting trophies in a trophy case than an education, right? Mm-hmm. So naturally, without any father figure, I was very rebellious. Didn't listen to my mom. My mom was 4'9". So, there was no discipline. I mean, she tried, but but it was just in that neighborhood where I grew up, everybody was together. Everybody's family. They had all something going on, and it just seemed like us kids were all on the same frequency, like the same. We're all had each other's back, and and plus we're being influenced by the older guys. They're teaching us how to act towards each other, about don't think on your friends, stuff like that. And then I think Dean and I were we had to have been in grade 6 or 5 or 6. We met Paul Volpe. He was a mob figure in our neighborhood, and I didn't get into it when I did the interview, but this is how we met. When we were kids, we used to ride the elevators in Dean's apartment building and scare all the people in there, because we could control what floor they went on, right? So he happened to be in the elevator one time with this lady, and we were doing that to her, and she was freaking out and everything. So sure, he was pissed off, right? And then whoever told him, because everybody knew we were the kids shit disturbers, so then he approached us. Right? And he goes, "You guys want to be that?" He gave us a little lecture, right? Like, that's how we got started. Like, we didn't know he was a mobster, but he just knew he was a guy that right, that was very influential.
Yeah.
Right? So anyways, Dean and I, how we met, he moved into our neighborhood. He had been about maybe 7 or 8 or something like that, and they came to our school, and he was a good-looking kid. He was like a child movie star back then, like, right? And somebody told him told me that he was holding hands with my little girlfriend or something at the skating rink or something stupid like that. So we got
That's
into
Dean. That's Bobby and Dean right there.
Yeah.
And then there's Dean in his later years right there. Just to get the people though. Yeah, you guys are freaking jacked, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, when you work out every day. But
yeah.
Anyways, how we met, so I called him out, you're holding my girlfriend's hand, and he denied it. So after school at 3:30, so when there's a school fight, everybody's in there, and I was the favorite, and so I'm showing off. While I'm showing off, he just got me down. He didn't let go, and then the fight was over. You know what I mean? And embarrassing or not, but that's how we were best friends right after that too. Right?
I mean, that's how it was back then, man. You could fist fight the kid and become best friends. And unfortunately, those days are gone, because people just talk crap online now, and then they pull weapons, and then that's it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They all carry weapons, and they'll nowadays these kids will shoot you for just cowards. To me, they're fucking cowards.
They'll shoot you for $1 these days. $1 they'll shoot you.
Like it's just here. That's all you hear: home invasions, shootings, like teens.
Yeah,
like, these kids are or our age. You know what I mean? Like when we were in public school.
Yeah, I'm still really good friends with this guy Tony, and he knocked out my front tooth in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I remember I was up in the nurse's office, and I guess somebody said something, so they brought him up there, and the principal was like, "Is this the guy that did it?" I said, he just threw me the basketball, and I wasn't looking, and it hit me in the mouth, because that's you know, even back then you didn't do that stuff. And I was just texting him the other day, man. We've been friends for over 40 years now. Yeah,
that's how you meet most of your childhood friends. Yeah.
Yeah, like Dean and I, like some of the stuff we pulled off, like he would know at a young age, he would know what I was thinking, and vice versa. Without saying a word, we just give a look or something, and we got it. Like a lot of the teachers, because in the 70s there was a lot of still racism. I used to get beat up every day coming home from school by these two brothers and their cronies. Like these, one guy kneeled down, the other guy pushed me over to him, and then they, peshed me, right? And then my father was still at home at the time, and he told me, "You come home crying one more time, I'm gonna beat you." So besides anybody else, my father, I was, scared to death, right? So once I got that confidence, because the next day I went and got all those guys back. You know what I mean? Like, just, I don't know, fear does. This is what I know about fear, because I was so afraid of my father that I knew I had to, take care of business. Like, so I did it, and then after, and I was successful, and that's where my confidence came. Like, Amanda doesn't have confidence, ain't gonna get too far, or even a child or anything, especially like in school, like, right? So, and then shortly after that, that's when Dean moved in, and then like I was telling you, we had the fight, and then me and him were like this ever since, So,
Bobby, what made you though resort though, did you ever think about trying to just do the normal 9 to 5 or whatever, or is it just let's get into crime?
No, it was like, I remember specifically, like when we met Mr. Volpe, because back then car theft was popular, heist safes and stuff like that. So he started it off with cars, and he had some of his guys teach us how to, break into a car, hotwire a car, and all that. So we were just at a very young age, just that's what we wanted to do. Adrenaline, like it just came natural to us. Like, yeah, right? Well, even in school, like a teacher messed with us, we get the teacher back. Like one teacher was on me, science teacher. Hold on, let me back up a second. My sister Paula is 3 years older than me. So when I hit junior high school, 7, 8, 9, my sister was in high school. So she gave me the skinny on all the teachers that she had in junior high. So, and she deliberately pointed out this Mr. Should I even forget his name? The science teacher, anyways, that was a racist, right? And so he was picking on me. So me and Dean were already into selling weed at the time, and then LSD came, the acid. So he kept 6 before our class started, and I dropped 2 purple mica doc into his in his coffee.
God damn, bro.
That's worse than a beatdown.
So anyways, we get through his class, so we're in another class, and all of a sudden the alarm bells start going off. All of a sudden he was tripping out so bad that he was up on the school roof, thought he was back in Vietnam. And everybody knew who did it, but hey, when you get the right guy. Like our phys ed teacher, Mr. Pasquale, came up to us, and he, like everybody knew it was us. He just come up and he goes, "You got the right guy."
I thought we were being rebels, like spitting in our teachers' cups, but
yeah, throwing LSD in there. I never even done that.
Well, another story we did on another teacher. We put a banana in his tailpipe, or it was a potato, or I don't know if it was either banana or potato, I can't remember. But so after detention, he's starting his car and is chugging. So me and Dean walked by the rear view window. So, so we knew it, right? So,
that's crazy.
My God, man. And our homeroom teacher was a pervert. My sister Paula was telling me that he got one of her girlfriends pregnant. So one day he got on us, and then he roughed us up a bit, and then I told him, "How's Margaret Thompson doing?" Because that was her name, right? And then he just froze. And then so we got $10 a week up of him. You know, like,
extorting the pedo
got
teacher.
you know what I mean? Like this wasn't. We didn't know it was just like, you know what? Fuck you, buddy. You know?
Yeah.
Right. But we were fearless. Like, you know what I mean? Like me, who's gonna discipline me at home when there's nobody there except for my 4'9" mother? You know, right? So this stuff like that, we used to pull up all kinds of, you know, stuff like that.
And then Bobby, like before, like you got into serious stuff or whatever, wasn't there something like where you had to go back to your mom's or whatever? She kicked you out or something for smashing a bottle over?
Yeah, that was later. Okay, so what happened? It was on Easter, and my mother at this time she already committed suicide maybe 4 or 5 times. Depression, you know, heartbroken from what my father did to her and everything, and she ended up with this boyfriend, and he convinced her to, because when she found out that my father and the slut he was you know, left us for, they were living in a big house with swimming pools and, you know what I mean, stuff like that, while we're living on welfare, right? So I think that was the icing on the cake. My mother said, well, I guess in her mind, if I leave, then he'll have to come and he'll see how it is. But she had 4 children that, you know, his mistress, you know what I mean? So anyways, on Easter, she looked us in the eye and said she was going to the store to get milk and bread and all that stuff, and then she never came back, right? And so my sister Melanie was just in diapers still, you know, and I remember that day. It's wow. And when we figured out she wasn't coming back, you know, we tried to do our best to hide it, because the children's aid at the time, we were terrified because they always separated the families. You know what I mean? And me and my sister, no, we're going to stay together as much as we can. So she would go to school one day, and then she write me a note saying I'm sick, and then I'd hand it in, and then vice versa. So we were rotating. This went on for a couple of weeks, and then somebody, obviously, after they figured out that we're on our own, phone the children's aid office. And maybe it was the school. I don't know. I don't know who called it. I'm figuring maybe the school caught on, but somebody caught on and rightly did the right thing. You know what I mean? Right. So when the children's aid came, I was at home with Paula was at school, and I was home with my baby sister, and I remember we're sitting on the floor in the living room, just rolling a ball to her, and she's throwing it back, you know, just playing around with my little sister. Knock on the door, and who's going to knock on the door in the morning? So I knew it was some kind of authority. So, you know, it was quiet, you know. All of a sudden, the management gave them a key to get in. So all of a sudden, I heard the key turned, and I also had the chain lock on the door, right? So when that came in, they're saying, it's the children's aid, you know, blah, we got to come in and all that stuff, right? So they actually, management pushed in the door, and it was open, but the dummies that they were, because I was a hockey player then, I had my hockey sticks at the front door. So I started swinging, you know what I mean? And then I seen a police officer there too. So just, I slammed the door on him, and then I ran and grabbed my little sister out the back door and gone. They never caught me. So I ended up at a friend's place with my little sister, and wow. And people put us up, you know, they're because we thought, oh, she's gonna come back. My mom was gonna go, but she never did. So like I said, after a couple of weeks, you know, children's aid got involved, and we were divided, man. You know, right? So. Oh.
Didn't you? Wasn't there something though where like you found your mother or something though with the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Or
Okay. So after when the children's aid got involved, my Aunt Vicky came and took responsibility for us. In the meantime, they're trying to find out where my father was. Like we didn't even know where he was. You know what I mean? Right. So we're at my Aunt Vicky. my father was found. He'd come and pick us up, and overnight we're in London, Ontario. It's 2 hours out of Toronto. A whole new life, whole new, just overnight. And gone away from all your friends. She's got 4 kids. We don't like her because that ain't mom. You know what I mean? That's the broad my dad was. Right. So it was a very hard situation.
Yeah.
My sister Paula didn't last long there. I didn't last long. I got in lots of trouble while I was in London. But then when we found out where my mother was finally, she was out in Edmonton, Alberta. So it just seemed right that I go out there. You know what I mean? Right. This is, I remember I got pinched. I got pinched on a robbery. Like I didn't do the robbery. I was just there. And this is a couple of days before actually. I
didn't do the robbery. I was just there, Keith.
I don't know when you tell the story all the time.
let me guess, Bobby. They weren't even your pants, right?
Yeah.
You find money in jail.
All right, I'm busted. Okay, all right.
Bobby, how old?
I was just there. I don't know what would happen. I was just there.
Bobby, how old were you?
I know how ridiculous that sounds now, honestly.
How old were you, Bobby? Because you started young.
Shit. Probably 13. Just turning 13 or something, right? Hold on. Yeah, I was turning 13 because I was only I wasn't in London long. So, anyways, my father comes. Or no, shit. I got out on that one, but shortly after that one, I ran a car through somebody's house, and then I got pinched again. This was like a couple of weeks after the robbery.
Let me guess though. You weren't driving. You were just there, right?
Yeah.
Just get a ride. From a
There was a
friend.
guy that looked like me that was driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, anyways, we were at a party, me and this guy, Mike Foreman, and we were dropping acid. And he had a big LTD. Like, I never drove a big boat like that in my life, right? But he drove us there, but we were, partying, getting high on acid and stuff. And he obviously went. I don't know if he was feeling sick or he had to get. I don't know. We left early for a reason, so he told me I have to drive. So okay. So anyways, I'm driving along, and it's in the wintertime, and there's a cop behind us. So he got all paranoid. He's like, "Turn left here, quick!" So by the time he said that and I turned, I was already past the left turn, like, 3/4 of the way. So when I turned up, went over the snowbank on where I was turning when I turned left, and then came back on the road. Instead of hitting the brake, I hit the gas pedal. Dukes of Hazzard right into a house. Right? So,
Yeah, that'll get the cops' attention, man.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, man. Well, we were so high on that, we were laughing. Because the front end's in, so I couldn't get the door open. And he's trying to get out of the car, and we're laughing. We can't get out of the car, right? So anyway, we finally got out of the car. And we're in the back, and we're laughing. And then he comes, later, and he says, you funny guys, if anybody was cooking on that stove or anything, the whole block went away. Because apparently when I hit the house, I hit the gas line. Right? So, anyways, so I'm in jail. My father comes, and then he's, well, I'll get you out on these conditions. You respect my wife. You start going back to school. He's laying the, all the rules on me. So I just told him, leave me in here. You know what I mean? Leave me in here, man. Right? But when you're a juvenile, So shortly after that incident, it seemed proper for me, after we found out where my mother was, to go out there. So that's what I did. And now she's going out with a real fucking piece of shit too. He was a drug dealer, and so it was good at first. Like when the first night I was there, where I was getting high with my mom and her boyfriend. Fucking right. So it was I remember specifically because the night before I was at the Who concert. This is when pay TV started coming out, where they started showing movies on TV and all that stuff. You have to pay and all that. They used to call it pay TV. This is 1982, 83, something like that. And ooh, so so everything's going good. I enroll in school. I start getting in trouble at school, of course. I'm just, this rebellion. I don't give up. Right. So, anyways, her boyfriend, my mom got into a fight one night. And I know it was over me, right? Because he come over and my mom be crying and then there was tension in between us, but I didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? It's between my mom and him. But one night he pushed her out of his truck. My mom, when he pushed her out, he wasn't going that fast, but enough fast where she had road burn on her arms and legs, and and she was hospitalized. And cool. So when she got out of the hospital, I pressed her to tell me what happened because I still didn't know how she ended up like that. And her boyfriend wasn't coming around. He had his own apartment. And so finally, when she got home, she told me. Now, I remember it was one of the coldest winter temperatures in Alberta history. It was like minus, 68, 69, something like that.
Jesus.
And
that cold.
I was so mad. Like, I dressed warm, but I didn't want to be like that because I knew what I was going to go over there and do, right? So he lived about a 10-minute walk from our place. So he was on the second floor. So I hop up on the balcony, get in there. He's got the sliding doors. They weren't locked or anything. I just opened it up, and he was passed out on his couch. And on the table, he had bottles of booze, but he had a big bottle of vodka, 40 ouncer, like a big one. So I said, okay. So I grabbed it. So I wake him. I'm waking him up. Go, hey, Jimmy, wake up. So as soon as he opened his eyes, I let him have it with the bottle, like in Halloween. Wee, wee, wee. Blood's going all over me, right? So anyways, he phones the cops on me. By the time I got home, he's already contacted my mother saying either I go or the police are called. So I get to the place, she's got the door locked, so she locked me out. Told me I can no longer stay there anymore. I'd have to be a fucking parade to be happy or something,
Yeah.
Right. But she kicked me out that night. And so we're talking 10:30 at night. All my friends, wherever they were, they're all scattered. Like, we didn't have cell phones or pagers or anything like that. So I had to find somewhere to go and keep warm. So I ended up at the school I was going to, and I barricaded myself with garbage bins. So I was out there all night freezing my ass off. You know what I mean? And I was just so heartbroken. Like, why my mother, this is twice now that she's turned. Once she abandoned us, left us there, and now this over him. Like, that's how I'm seeing it, right?
Yeah.
So, geez. Right. So that was a real motherfucker to go through with that. And so the next day, I lasted till school, but I was like ice cold, freezing. So I thought out in school and that. And then the police were looking for me. So me and my other friend, Dean, which was my best friend out there, like everywhere I ended up, London, Alberta, all my best friends were named Dean.
Yeah, this Dean isn't the Dean. This isn't Dean Copkov. This is the other.
No, this isn't Dean Copkov. Right. So anyway, we ended up hitchhiking. Cops are all over. So he says, "I'm heading to Vancouver, man. If you want to come." So off we went to Vancouver. We hitchhiked. Took us like 5-6 days, but we ran into two perverts on the way hitchhiking. Now you got to remember how cold it is too. So we're not going to be too picky whose car we're going to jump into, right? And this one guy, he was a real son of a bitch. I didn't have any weapons, but Dean did. So we fucked him up pretty good. We threw him out of his own car bleeding and everything. And then we drove until the gas ran out. Then we had to hitchhike again. So we got a ride here and there. And then I think it was like day 3, we ran into another piece of shit pervert, right? And we fucked him up. Well, we had to, right? But anyways, time we hit Vancouver, so we got 2 of those guys there. We ended up in a house where it was all like kind of street kids like us, and so all the plot and plan of like how you gonna make money, because everybody was into the drugs and everything. So nobody was working, or like we're all young kids, you know?
Yeah.
So we got sent. This guy had money in his house or something, and we were sent over, and nobody was supposed to be home. And guess what? Somebody was home when we went there, and
that tip, yeah,
that was like that was pretty bad. What took place? What we had to do to get away, but anyways, we go back to the house, and we're not secret about it, what happened, and so everybody knows. So obviously, for me, my instincts were somebody's gonna rat us out. You know what I mean? So I took off. That's when I came back to Toronto, and then so I come back to Toronto. Got cops after me. I'm very angry at my mother, like furious. Did not give a fuck, right? So in order, I shacked up with with Dean's place, the McNeil's place, wherever I can flop around, right? So I ended up.
No, when you went back, is this Dean Copkov now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So, I got into the selling acid again, and then I was selling it to these older guys, and they did a ripoff. I got sucker punched, and so when I got up, I ended up stabbing all 3 of them. So I was up on 3 attempt murder charges, just like that. Yeah. So, and then I got ratted out on that one.
Yeah, let me just say something real quick, Keith.
Yeah.
So when I first had Bobby on and he was telling me all this, because sometimes people come on and, like they make up shit, they this and that. Next thing I know, there's like all these Canadian stations on YouTube being like, holy shit, Loomis had on Bobby fucking Bright, blah, 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 this and that and all that. Because Bobby, at first I was like, on some of the stories, I'm like, really? Really? But I mean, no, man, this is all freaking, it's documented and freaking, you had an insane childhood, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. How old were you when that happened?
I was 15.
Damn.
Hold on. Sorry, no. Yeah, I was 15. So that happened in the summer. I just turned 16, actually.
That's crazy.
Happened. Yeah, when that happened. Yeah, so I got, I'm considered an adult now. So the charges got dropped to aggravated assault. I ended up doing 18 months. I was sentenced 18 months. I was out in 6. Back then, you did a third of your time, not 2/3 like they do now, right? Mm-hmm. So well. Yeah, so now you're out. What do I do? I'm pissed off, angry. Here's the thing, like, too, when you don't have any parents, they automatically sign you up for foster care, right? Somebody to adopt you or whatever. So I ended up in a foster home with a new mom and dad, kind of, if you will, right? And they were fucking perverts, man. Straight up, man. And then in the house beside us was the girls. So, and they used to tell us, like, our bathroom windows were, parallel to each other. So that's how we used to communicate with them, because we weren't allowed to talk to them. They weren't, and vice versa, right? So we used to communicate that way at night. And they were being
the girls. Are they your sisters?
No. That's foster. When I was in this foster home, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
right. So they were telling us their stories, and where I was, you had the guy's wife molesting the kids, and him, So I'm the new guy, so I knew, it's gonna be my turn. You know what I mean? So I prepared myself. You know what I mean? He came in the room, and so I had just had my pajamas on. I had no shoes on, no nothing, and I just went at him. You know what I mean? I fucked him up pretty good, and to get away, I had to jump out the window on the 3rd floor. I hang jumped. There was a little second roof, so I jumped there and hang jumped in my bare feet in the winter time. When I got away, I made my way back to my old neighborhood, and I never ended up in foster care again. You know.
So then, Bobby, from that moment, then were you just, because you're still young, but you're just no foster care at all, just all on your own?
Yeah, well, it was either that or you know, turn myself in, because you know, I did a number on this guy, you know, like, you know, and whose story they gonna believe? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back to jail or nothing, right? So, but anyway, so I'm on the run for that, and my God, man, cops are looking for me. And I eventually got caught, you know. So my sentence on that time, I ended up at this place. It was called Under 21. So what it was, instead of you doing jail time, it was for kids that they had a work program, some academics, you know, stuff like that. It was, but there was another cesspool there. You know what I mean, right? Just I didn't last long there either, right? So, wow. So it's just like my life changed so many times, you know, within a couple of years that, like, I literally, because of the police looking for me, I had to sleep under, like, outside, like, I stand up, sleeping under a viaduct, you know what I mean? Because the wind don't get there, nobody knows you're there, right? You know, you're cold, hungry, you know, thinking about, you know, all kinds of stuff going through your head, you know, and so that's kind of the stuff that I endured when I was growing up, and which evolved into all the all the heavy stuff that I ended up getting myself involved in.
Yeah, what were you guys doing though with like, you know, you were running like with like keggers or whatever though, and there was some Hells Angels. Were they Hells Angels or not? Remember the locker?
Well, that was later on. That was that shootout happened later on. At that period, we're into just stealing cars and doing heists, like you know what I mean, right? Stuff like that.
And I'm not trying to rush you. Eventually,
No,
we're gonna do a pre-record and with you and all that type of stuff. It's just that I'm just, you know, just moving a lot on the live though. But I'm just I remember certain stories that are just crazy, so I'm just trying to put the time pieces together.
Yeah. I'm trying to like hurry because I don't want to take up the time too, right? Like
no. Go ahead.
But that, Bobby, that's crazy, man. And not to that extent. That's probably one of the craziest, saddest childhoods I've fucking heard of, man. But when I worked for, when I worked for the city of Richmond, I mean, you'd see some of these kids, and I mean, I remember locking up 13-year-olds at 2 a.m. with, you know, a bag of crack rocks and $1,500 and a gun, and then, you know, their cracked out mom would be coming to pick them up, and it's just like you're looking at this poor kid. You're like, this kid doesn't have a shot in hell, man. It's just like what is a kid supposed to do, you know? So there's still a lot of that going on, man. But that's just crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, like for me, it was just felt so unwanted. Like, you know, I didn't have a home when things got rough. I can go to, you know what I mean? I burned my
real Bobby. If you don't mind me asking, like, were you depressed?
I was more angry, but when I had my time alone, like when you're under a viaduct bridge, when you're in the sleeping bag, you know, that's when it hits me. You know, you shed a few tears, but then, you know, no, I'm gonna get through it. You keep telling yourself stuff, right? So I really programmed myself to block shit out. Like it still happens to this day how I can block shit out. Like, you know, it's just.
Were you even at that early age? You said you would drop acid and stuff, but did you like drink or use anything on a daily basis back then?
Not daily, just party on the weekends. During the week, that's where I make my money. You know what I mean? And then on the weekends, like everybody else, the kids, right? You know, and like it was all kind of okay. Monday, everybody's at school. I go to school. I hook up with Dean. You know, we make up a plan on, okay, he's got a few cars in mind, or, you know, and then we go do what we had to do and then sell, and then we both got money, right? And then so when I started making money like that way, then I could afford to go rent a room somewhere, like you know what I mean, right? So that's how I started getting by, and then every score we did, it escalated to a bigger one and a bigger one, like, it's just, everything escalates, right? Because too, when you're with your best friend, and it didn't seem like we were doing anything wrong because it was all fun, like the adrenaline, right? It was him and I don't know, man. It's just, we had fun doing, stealing cars, like it was fun, right? It wasn't like people, oh, you guys are stealing. Well,
I mean, yeah, when you're 15 and you've kind of by yourself, there's really no consequences other than what they're going to do, put me back to jail where I have a warm room and a couple of meals to eat, then I'll just get. So, yeah.
And then, like I said, things escalated. We started getting a name for that, and all of a sudden we got asked to collect money for the older guys, because we were collecting money for, the gangsters at a very young age. They used to call us the kids, right? So that even went down to when I met the Rizzuto crew down there. We were known as the kids, you know what I mean, right? So so we were doing a lot of heavy shit at a very young age, and it's just wow.
Bobby, your friend Annette's here. What's up, Annette?
Oh, hi, Annette. She's from London, England. There's a line.
Apart from Canadian history, you are, Bob. A part of Canadian history, you are, Bob. I'm proud of you for sharing your journey.
Thank you, Talissa. Appreciate it.
And NYC, what's up, Brett? Just wanted to say some hellos, but go on, Bobby.
Yeah.
I love the stories, though, man. I love the stories, though, with you, Dean. Well, that's pretty much where we're at, though. But go on, though. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's when things actually when we started collecting money. This is when we started meeting, older guys, like way older, like men, grown men, and we did a lot of work for them, and did it good too, right? So then the geniuses that we are, we started doing our own thing, putting our own money together, getting our own dope, and putting it out, right? And shit, man, we did very well. I gotta say, right?
I mean, you guys got all the way to the top in a way, we
hit the big leagues.
You're staying down with Rizzuto. That's the biggest mobster in one of them in the world.
Yeah, like personally, I didn't know, didn't know who he was. Like Dean told me when we were going down there about the free captain thing, and he was told in confidence,
well, let me let Keith know the three captain murder. If you ever see Donnie Brasco, if you ever see Donnie Brasco, Keith, it's not exactly that accurate, but it's with the Bananos, and they killed three captains in America, and Rizzuto was here during that. Correct, Bob?
Yeah. Their Rizzuto family was part of the Banano family.
Yeah, look them up, Keith. The Rizzuto family, crazy.
Okay, I definitely am now. Yeah.
So
he was the John Gotti they used to call him of Canada.
Yeah. That didn't come out until he was number one. But
I think I've heard of this. They had him come down because they didn't want to do it and start a war down here, so they had him come down from up there or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
is that right?
Well,
could be.
Something like that.
Yeah, why would they have Rizzuto come though? That's odd though. Why would they have him come from Canada when they have so many
loyalty? Because the two families, the Sicilians against Napoleons, you know what I mean, right? We're going at it. So if you want a Banano backup, plus with the heroin business, right? So Canada had to prove their loyalty. So that's how.
So right? That was like a test in a way.
Yeah, well, Dean and I went through a test like that too. They put us through a test before they started doing business with us. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, just to show that you got the minerals and and right. And so
at what age did you guys start dealing, like going into like the big leagues, like with the drugs and stuff?
we were 20. Yeah, we were 21, 22 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 21, 22 years old. But we were doing work, like I was saying, like since we were like 17, 18, like we took on, actually, this is how we got noticed with the Camisos. Camisos in Toronto were the strong arm of the mafia here in our city in Toronto. And this is when he was with the Controni, because he's not Sicilian, right? When Controni got retired and they put Violi in, and Violi got mucked out, right? And so that's when the Rizzutos took over. So the Rizzutos started taking out all the strong arm of the Toronto guys just for power, right? Like, and plus Hamilton. That's when Johnny Pops, eventually Johnny Pops Vitoria, that's when he got mucked out. He was the Hamilton boss that was with the Gambinos over in Buffalo. Him and his the Lupinos, they got mucked out. Shit. But anyways, so 1986, I think maybe even earlier than that. We used to go to this club called The Connection. It was downtown Toronto, and there was a guy that was just a jerk, and I kicked his ass and got him out of there. Like, I wasn't a doorman, right? It was just our one of our connections. He was the owner of the place, and all us guys used to frequent up there. So this guy got out of line, right? So we threw it out. He comes back with his brothers, and I got my ass kicked. I mean, they destroyed me. But Dean was in Europe then. He was trying to find a girlfriend. This is crazy. Should I tell him the story before what we did? Okay. Yeah. So how we used to practice our fighting skills was at rock and roll place called the Gasworks, right? And so they throw guys out and they threaten they're going to call it a mean Dean. When they walked away from the bar, then we come up and we boom, 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 right, thump them, right, and plus practicing our crap and everything. So anyway, some heat came down on them at the Gasworks, and the owner told the cops who it was. Us guys. So we got questions. We were never charged. So I'll just leave it there at that for a moment, right? So this is the kind of guy Dean was. He let time go by, but he was very okay. Yeah. Right.
Always thinking too. He always had a plan.
Yeah. So anyways,
and this guy's in movies like Cinderella Man and doing all that.
Yeah, he was the body double for Russell Crowe, right, in the ring and stuff. But anyways, so he was in love with this girl, and her father moved her they went to Greece every summer for after school's out and all that stuff, right? And so she wrote him a letter, said she wasn't coming back, right? So Dean was just heartbroken. So he goes, you know what? So he camped out the Gasworks. So we ended up doing a heist, and we got the money. We did the heist at the Gasworks. We got like 30 grand out of there.
Is that the one though when Dean or someone kicked the shit out of someone, or someone fucked with you, and then remember the guy left and you left the house?
Yeah, well, but he was gone, and he was in Europe then. So what we did that score. He did that score so we can fly over to Greece and go find his girlfriend, right?
I got it.
Yeah. So anyway, while he was gone, this is when this happened at the bar when I threw the guy up. Then he comes back with his brothers. So his brothers were like the pimps of downtown. They were the the hats with the feathers, the fur coats, pimps, right? So they came back on me, and I mean, I got wiped. They wiped me like like a mop on the floor, right? Yeah. So anyways, I'm fucked up pretty good. Dean comes back. He takes a look at me, tells me what happened, So I tell him who kicked my ass, and he said, "We'll get those guys." Right? So anyways, so we load up. We got these. We go back downtown. We know where they hang out. These guys. So there was a strip joint called the Brass Rail, and they had a huge window, and so we're down there, and so we see those guys sitting in there. So with the butt of the gun, Dean's tapping on the window, and then they look up, and then, you know, we're going, let's go, but they wouldn't come out, right? So anyways, that went on for a while. Then they started putting messages all downtown that when they see us, we're dead and all that stuff. So we used to tell the messenger, well, you tell them, we'll see them before they ever see us. You know what I mean? That they're fucking dead. You know what I mean? Right? So nothing ever became of it, right? They chickened out, obviously, but this is where the Camisos came in. So the Camisos got word of like, hey, who are these kids? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the Camisos that's
yeah,
big
these
time.
pimps are like selling all the dope or whatever for the Camisos, doing all their, you know, right, running all the bars downtown with the girls, right, for them, right? So that's how we ended up with the Camisos there, right? And with the reputation to Montreal, that's how we ended up getting affiliated down in Montreal.
Well, you skipped a big part, Bobby. Did he come back from Greece with the chick or not?
Oh, no.
Right.
He almost got killed. Her father came out with a shotgun.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
He spent all that money there, and he came back empty-handed, huh? Man.
He said, I don't know how he saw me because I walked on the property like it was like a farm, right? I think he was growing peaches or grapes or something. I can't remember, right? But the father seen him and just started unloading on him, right?
That's nuts.
Wasn't Dean always that type though? Like he would always just fall.
Oh yeah, he was a diehard romantic. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't know that, but you know, when he loved somebody, he do whatever it took to go and see them or help them or you know whatever. He was just very.
He had another side to him as well, right?
Yeah. But that's how that incident with those guys and how we took them on, and how we got associated with Montreal. So before we actually started doing business with them, they wanted to, even though they know the story that we took on these pimps, whatever, they wanted to see what kind of balls we really had if they wanted to do work with us. You know, that comes with a lot of things. Are these guys, if they get caught, are they going to keep their mouth shut? Are these guys going to, whatever, right? You wanted to, test us out. So we did some work, and they were very impressed how we did it. Very smart, very intelligently, very low key, and they got their money. And all parties were happy, except for the guy that we saw. Because when they tell you this is what they want you to do, like say, I want you to twist his finger off his fucking hand or something, and that's what you got to do, right? So but anyways, so
what would happen though, Bobby? Like if they said twist that guy's finger off and you didn't do it though, they just wouldn't trust you and leave you alone.
Yeah, they would say, these kids dying dumb, and we don't want, because when those kind of guys recruit somebody, they want everybody to be the top of their field. You know what I mean? They don't want second. They want guys that are smart, that are on the top of their field and do what they say, and all that stuff, right? So they were very impressed with their work, and especially how we handled ourselves with the pimp situation, and plus all the scores, you know what I mean, right? They knew we were good that way, right? So yeah, so that's how we ended up with the Rizzutos.
And then what was that with you? So I knew of the Rizzutos, obviously, from here from the news, and like when he was coming back over after he got out of prison. But what was the story like? Weren't you sitting down? I don't know if it was a limo or in a car with Dean or something. And he's like, "Listen."
Oh, when he escaped?
When you guys actually met Rizzuto himself.
Oh, we drove down. We drove down in a limousine. Actually, they sent a car for us, and so we drove like 6 hours to get down there too, right?
But they knew about you. They knew about the kids. The Rizzutos knew about the kids because that was the name of your gang, right?
Yeah. It was all planned up through Renard, right? So Renald, right? So, but they sent a car for us. You know what I mean? Like classy, right? So on the way down, so Dean's filling me in. Okay, listen, man. These guys are serious guys, and he's telling me, don't talk. We're going through how we're gonna be when we're there, and stuff like that. And that's when he told me about. And he goes, and the top guy, like, he says, they're the ones. He's like they're the ones that with the 3 captains in New York City. So there we are, man. Right? So anyways, we hit Montreal. The plan was that we were gonna meet the man, and then we're gonna go to the fights, watch Matthew Hilton fight, which at that time there was like 5 of them, 5 brothers. Their father was their coach and everything, and they were serious like boxers, right? So the whole thing was to we're gonna meet the Rizzutos, and he's taking us to the fights, and then and that was that, right? So anyways, when we met Vito, what a genuine guy. He greeted us with a nice handshake and like, Barry, you're nice to meet you, and vice versa, right? And we're supposed to be at his table, but he told me, he goes, I really apologize to you guys. I have to seat you on the next table because I had some unexpected guests, and they have to sit at the table. So anyway, we didn't care, right? Right. So we were like sitting behind him, and he kept on when there was something bullshit going on at the table. He reached back and say something. Like, he was really a cool guy, like a really
Yeah,
cool.
he's very charismatic.
Yeah. And
Keith, that's Keith. I just sent you him.
Yeah, look at I see it. Yeah.
Like he was the top dog, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how you get images of somebody, you know what I mean? Because, a lot of people get images because of a movie they saw, but it's nothing like that. You know what I mean? It's nothing like that, right? So anyways, we end up on the fights. He's introducing us to all kinds of the who's who of Montreal down there, like all at ringside, like, I don't remember everybody, but wow, that was a night I'll never forget, So we ended up making a deal. We got 200 kilos of the hash, black hash, right? And then the rest is history. We made lots of killer money, right? I can tell you stories about the hash when we tried to sell it in America. That's when we ended up. That's when we ended up in Hell's Kitchen, right? Right? Dean's cousin. Like, we didn't know about the Westies or anything like that, but we were partying. I think the place was called the Limelight or something. It was something light or something.
You ever hear of the Westies, Keith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How did Dean go from kilos of hash to playing in all these freaking movies?
All right. Okay. So you got to remember the time period. Cocaine wasn't flooding the streets yet in the early 80s, like 88, 89. Like, it wasn't called crack. Like, if people were smoking it, it was called freebase.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And cocaine was around, but we just didn't have a market for it. Like, personally, between us, like the guys we grew up with and stuff like that, they didn't have the, right? So what happened? This is why we went to America, because of his cousin, right? So we went there. This is a kind of a wild story. Anyways, we ended up in New York. We meet his cousin. He introduces to these Latin guys, which got us to a meeting in Ocean City. So from New York City, 2 days after all that, we ended up in Ocean City to meet another guy, and then we ended up in Florida, right? Right, and then it was so cheap, like we were getting prices here that like the bar owner was telling me, yeah, probably you get a key for this, say 35,000 or something like that, right? We were getting it for like 22, right? So right? So he was off, right? So we ended up in Florida. But what happened in Florida was that these guys talk, right? All of a sudden, everybody in where we were in Florida knew that they were calling us the Canadians, knew what we're down there for. And so we said, Dean woke me up about 3 a.m. We're, fuck, man, we were partying with these guys, but they were just talking and impressing us and introducing these guys are from Canada. They're going to be with us. Like they were just fucking blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Right. So me and Dean are kind of looking at each other. Right. But anyway, we ended up leaving. He woke me up, he says, let's get the fuck out of here. Right. So that didn't go down. But then shortly after that, because the guys that we know, we inquired about it. We wanted to invest. Like we were getting pure hash, and then we were repressing it. We're putting in an extra quarter pound per key, you know what I mean, and then repressing it back and re-wrapping it, right? So we used that money, and then that's how we got into the cocaine business there.
And then how did Dean though end up being a stuntman?
I was away when he did all that. He ended up going to stuntman school in Philadelphia, but he was influenced by like we had friends. There's a couple of movies that like the first one was the hockey movie with Patrick Swayze, Rob Lowe, and Dean got friendly with Patrick Swayze because they're both martial artists, right? And so he was showing Dean how to follow and all that and stuff like that. So that really got his interest. And then when I went away, that's when he ended up going to Philadelphia and learn how to get stunts and stuff like that. Right?
So he just stayed there. So when you were away, he was just doing like the stunt stuff, not the crime stuff and all that stuff. But
he was always, even his own father used to say to us, his dad, he's Croatian, right? So his father had that accent. He says, "You two watch too many Clint Eastwood movies," right? Dean was always a movie buff, right? He could parrot every line in every movie, right? But that's how we got into it, right? And,
he was in some serious movies too. That
time. He worked his way up. Like I mean, like I said with the charisma, like everything I did, I moved up the ladder fast, and everything he did, right? Because there's always a rule when you're doing crime. You got to be good on paper. You have to be good on paper to justify the brand new cars, or you know what I mean. You got to show that on paper. You know what I mean, right? So we're like, we're pretty smart that way. Like, and a lot of people here are like that. They always be good on papers to justify, But we didn't go out and do a bunch of luxury stuff and all that. We kept it, low key, right? And but that's how that started. But I'll tell you another story. When I was a kid, what kind of a guy Dean was. We got started at an after hours club. This guy Igor. I got busted at his club. They didn't find any money. It was an after hours club, right? I was like 16, 17 at the time. And the cops raided it. They didn't find no money, but they took me in, and I was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, which I never had it on my person. It was just in my belongings. Because I came actually, from work at the time with the.
There you go again. They got me for robbery, Keith. They got me for robbery, but I wasn't there.
That's my backpack, but the sure as hell isn't my gun in my backpack. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love it. So, anyways,
so Bobby. So then, when you guys did that whole thing with remember how with the lockers and all that at the kegger or whatever? Now, is this after America?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
The thing with the lockers or whatever, and remember the guy was crawling by the ambulance and something like that? Like, was that after America? Remember you were like holding a party at a boxing thing or something, and there was a bunch of people talking shit and people were passing it around.
Oh, the shootout with the bikers. Oh, you want me to tell that story? Oh, okay.
No, I was just wondering if that was after America.
Oh yeah, we were already when that went down. We were already established. We were like number one in our city, right? But I want to tell the story. Keith gets a better idea on why Dean was my brother and what.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't telling you to tell that story. I just wanted to know if it was before or after. But tell, yeah,
that was way after. That was in the 90s. Yeah.
But no, go tell us whatever you want to say about Dean, man. I mean, I love hearing about Dean, man. I wish I could have met him.
Like I mean, all right, like, okay, this is the backstory. I get pinched at an after-hours club with this guy Igor. Now, when you work for somebody at their after-hours club and anything goes down, you get pinched. They get the lawyer. They come down and get you out. This guy doesn't come out. He doesn't get me out. And I'm being cocky with the police. You know what I mean? They're even smacking me around, but I'm getting out of here, right? Igor's going to come and bail me out. He doesn't come down, right? So anyways, I tell Dean this, right? I got a guy, fuck, man, I got to go to court with this fucking concealed weapon. And I tell him the story. Well, I get through it. Anyways, a year goes by. He asked us, like, that's how we got into security, doing movie stars and rock stars and stuff like that. We used to like bodyguard, like part-time or whatever. A big band would come on. Our friend Tommy was at the head of the security, and also he had a pyrotech business, right? So we did all the pyrotechs and rock concerts and stuff like that, right? So anyways, so we get asked to do the Rolling Stones concert, the Steel Wheels tour. And
I'm just sending some stuff over to Keith on Dean. That's all.
Yep.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yep. So, Igor asked Dean, right? I never spoken to you because he left me stinking in jail, right? Or in the police station, right? So anyway, he asked Dean, right? So he goes, I'm gonna bring Bobby. Okay, fine, whatever, right? So we're working the front row at the Rolling Stones concert. So Dean tells me, he goes, if Igor comes by, tell him that you just missed me, right? So, okay. So it turns out Dean takes out. I'm thinking he's got a broad because he's always had something going on with a broad. Or, It's funny, some of the stories of him with women. But anyways, so he takes off. Igor comes by and he's looking for Dean. I go, you just missed him. You know what I mean? Right? So he lets that go. Right? So, so anyways, Dean comes back, doesn't say much, right? The show's going to start.
Thanks,
right?
TD.
He came the backup band was Living Color, right? They were backing up the Stones, Living Color they were called, right?
Yeah.
So they came back, they came on stage, but I know we wanted to see the opening when the Stones came up, right? That's what he says. Oh, I can't wait to see. That was the whole thing, right? So anyway, he comes back. The Living Colors finish. Dean comes back, and the Stones are coming up with their intro, "Sympathy for the Devil," right? Like, it was all the fans are going nuts and everything. So we watch about maybe half hour of the concert, and then he says, "Let's get the fuck out of here," right? So all right, so we leave. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know. He didn't tell me what he went and did, right? So we're out. So we're hopping in this car. I'm waiting for him to push the button to let me in. He goes and opens the truck and he goes, "Hey, Bobby, come here. Look at this," right? So I go around, I look at it, and it's all kinds of fucking money. Right? He puts that in the bag. He goes, "This is your half," right? So we go in and he goes, "Know what I did?" He goes, "I went and robbed Igor's safe."
And he gave you half, though. Like, legitimately gave you half.
He didn't have to do that. Like, but he just figured, oh, you fucked with Bobby, okay, right? Well, that's what he fucking did, man. Like, that's what kind of fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like, wow, right?
No, I mean, I know he was like your brother, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
He didn't tell me anything what he had planned, right? Like I didn't even want to work for the guy. He was just, come on. Like, he was just like, come on, come and work, come with me, come on, right? Like pretty old pestered me to come do that show with him, right? So, but now, you know, turns out we know why.
He had that planned out for a while, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, that's how he was, eh? Like, he called me sometimes, you know, weird hours of the night, you know, let's go, and he had something already planned, man.
Yeah, I mean,
he was always scheming.
Those are rare people, man. You know, you get one or two. I've got my best friend from college, man. He lives up in New York, and we don't. To this day, if I call him at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and tell him meet me here, he won't even ask a question, man. That dude's in the
exactly.
car. He's probably bringing a shovel, and
exactly.
He'll meet me wherever. Yeah,
exactly. Like, you know, like over the years, like I'd be at home with my family and the kids, and pager would go off. I call him. He said, "I'm going to come over and get you." I said, "Okay." So I knew what that meant, right? You know, so I'd be ready. You know, right? So just like that. You know?
But this is what impresses me the most is that he didn't tell you about Igor, and he stole all that money, and he did it on his own, and he gave you 50% of that money. Like he didn't, he did not 49, 48.
No. He put it all he put it right in front of me, bud. Put it right in front of me. There's your, like, you know, I'm not going, oh, gee, thank you. I'm going, no, man, I don't want that. You just, you know.
I mean, even though it's not great stuff, it's nothing to glorify. It's nothing to glorify, but it does show his character, though.
Yeah.
I mean, great friend he was.
Like, just say I did something, I give him his, like, we were like that, right? You know, right? But that was like the ultimate, like, you know, it was like a year ago, Igor did that to me, left me stinking in the police station.
Oh no, man! You don't forget shit like that. Man, I could probably
waited that long, man. Yeah.
If you could, I could still probably think of some people like that either mess with a family member or one of my good friends from decades ago. That if I saw them today, you know, you never forget that kind of shit.
Yeah, you know what? You can count all your good friends on one hand. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's it, man. Like,
how many? Well, it's also through. I thought I had a lot more friends than I did before I went through my situation. And when you go through some shit like that, or you fucking grow up like you did, which is impressive that you're still here, to be honest with you. That's when you figure out your real people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, when you're at your lowest. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, geez, man.
People usually leave though when you're at your like lowest or whatever. Though people like go leave or whatever, whether it's a girl
that's like
or whatever.
Later on in life, like, you know, when I started getting into the drugs myself, when I started becoming a heroin addict, you know, right? You know, when I got into that, perks, heroin, you know, whatever opiate I could do or take to hold me over until I got the fucking doogie, right? You know, right?
Yeah, man, that was my poison too. I never touched drugs. I think I smoked weed a couple times in my life because I wanted to do what I'm doing now, and couple. Yeah.
Like I was in my 30s when I started doing that.
Bobby, no, but Keith was about to say though that he never smoked weed or anything like that. But then, as a cop on the job, he got really hooked on pain pills and opiates and all that shit.
Well, I'm sure as a police officer, you're doing shift work too. Like 1 week you're on day shift, and then they're switching you to nights, and then never mind it if you run into something, then all the paperwork. Like, I mean. That's not normal for any human being to work those kind of hours like that. You know what I mean?
And what they see though, Bobby, like he was the first one of the first ones on the scene of the Navy Yard, and he sees a lady's face blown off her face. You know, so you're just you're doing a shift. You don't know what you're going to see, and he's seen a lot, man. He was that plane crash with the Olympic skaters. He was there pulling out the dead children and stuff. Like that shit, crazy.
Well, I was mentioning to Keith that I me and him have a lot in common, and this is what we have in common about of the use, because I seen the horrors. I told you stories what we've seen with how the OD, you know, 14-year-old kids to see how strong their heroin is, you know, like not the stuff that we did it in our world didn't really bother me that because we all know the rules. Like it did later on in life, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's everything catches up to you. I don't care, man. Like, you know.
Yeah. So, but that's what I talk about too. Like when I was in the city of Richmond, which is a pretty violent little city, the shootings and murders didn't bother. I mean, it was gang on gang. I mean, it was like it's part of the game, man. You know what I mean? I could get shot. You could get. It's just part of the game. But it's just nothing prepares you. I hate traffic car accidents because they're just people driving.
Oh, they're horrifying, man.
Yeah, the people in the Navy Yard were just sitting at their desks. They weren't in. They didn't sign up for the game. You know what I mean? Like they're just sitting at their desk doing their job. Next thing you know, they're.
That's how I used to take.
Those are the ones that stick with me, man. Stuff like that.
That's like okay. I got into the heroin game, right? And I ended up with these. I was working with the Chinese mob there for a while, and then I ended up meeting these other guys that they hooked up that were affiliated with them. So Dean and I, we went over to do a deal with them. We ended up doing a deal with them. So they were so proud. This is what they did. They picked up a 14-year-old girl on the street, promised her all this money if she, try their product. And this girl was in the bathtub. They were dead. They had water, like the shower pouring on her, but she was turning blue. Hello. You know what I mean? And they were high-fiving each other.
Because it was good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying,
that's what they would do.
Yep. She went under like that. Like they were so fucking happy. Like, you know what I'm saying, bud? And me and Dean are looking at each other like you got to hold your water. Like there are the lowest, even though, okay, we were drug dealers too, but I mean, we weren't doing stuff like that. Like, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite or not, but.
No, I get it, man. I hear you. Yeah.
Right. But the way they were getting off on murdering a 14-year-old child. There were nothing for her, just because she was a street kid. So now I took that person because I was a street kid. I was dodging perverts. You know what I mean? I seen a lot of bad shit, from, people that kids used to trust and, so anyways, Dean and I looked at each other and we're like, we're taking these guys out. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that, right? Like, that made me so sick to my stomach. I'm not kidding you, man. That had such a profound fucking thing on me, right?
Yeah, kids are it's another ball game, man.
They're off limits, man.
One of my first was a baby left in a car in July with the windows up, and it was just when I went in there and found the mom passed out, the baby was already deceased. But I mean, you have to do everything you can not to lose your shit, because every part of you wants to just freaking open the floodgates, man. But
especially being a police officer, if you do anything that's on the book, that woman gets off. You know what I mean? Right? She gets off her charges. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's why he has to keep his cool. Like, that's why I even asked him, like, man, when you deal with
we got to keep our cool too, because we don't know how digged in they're in with the Chinese or whoever they're with at this time. This is when actually we started having the Russians coming, right? We started having the Albanians and stuff. So we don't know how deep dug in until we found out, because we made up our mind when we left there. Like, we made it sound like we were down with it, made it look like, right? But
like
in that baby, you can't show any soft or weakness.
No, because you don't know if you do what they're going to do to you.
Yeah. Because once they see that you got a hurt, they know how to play you. They know how to set you up. You know what I mean? Right. I seen so many guys get set up to get whacked just by playing on their, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, we said when we got out of there that these guys are on the fucking list, man. Like, you know what I mean? And in the heroin business, it's the lowest form of people you'll ever want to meet. And they have no regard for human life. Hey, you want to do that? Do it to one of us guys. Don't pick a child, a baby. You know what I mean?
That's what these guys smuggling this fucking fentanyl in now, man. That stuff's murdering people.
Yeah.
And they could care less. Yeah. I mean, heroin was bad, but this stuff is a whole new ball game out there.
It's 5 times stronger. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But when you're in that life, man, I'm telling you, like, you know, you see, even though you didn't do it, but you see a lot of fucking shit because a lot of guys bring you to after the scene of the crime just to impress you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either it's to impress and then show you that if you fuck with us, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of, and I'm telling you, and the older you get, and then plus when you're using that, it hits you. I don't know. You know, I'm looking at my, you know, I'm just going, what kind of life is this, man?
Yeah.
Like that was the beginning of the end for me for, you know, right? You know,
and then, Bobby, is that like what this, like that moment was like when your mind started being like, I got to start trying to change my life?
Yeah. But, you know, but like the greed, you know, like, you know, well, I'll tell you, we got those guys, you know, we set them up good. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they didn't die or nothing, but you know, but anyways,
Not incriminate. Yeah.
But,
That's it.
yeah, but I'll tell you, man. That
well, no, the category though, anyway, of this channel is just entertainment. We're just talking about entertainment.
You know, right? So, but I tell you, the profound effect that it had on me. You know, I gave my life a whole double look. Like this could happen. How many? You know, I don't want to be tied to anybody that I'm doing this to children. Like, you know, right?
And by Bobby, you only seen that once. Think about how many times they do that.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, but I was a greedy son of a bitch. You know what I mean? But you know,
Well, I mean, so Bobby, for me, it's. I mean, I guess, you know, I had a great childhood. I had a great family. Never did drugs, but ended up being addicted to drugs anyway. So for me to think about like, I've got to stop doing this shit and get back to what I was is one thing, but from the way, I mean, from the way you were brought up, it was from what, 5-6 years old all the way to now. I guess thinking you've got to change is one thing, but you don't even know what to fucking change into because you've been doing this since you were 5 or 6 years old.
I know. Exactly.
You got a family just to come back to or anything like that.
It was like, it comes to a point when you're used to having the red carpet rolled out for you wherever you go. Everybody, you know, kissing you when you walk into, like that goes to your head, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I can make a phone call and I can have anything fucking done, or you know what I mean? Like, you know, like power, man. Like, you know, it's addicting. You know what I mean? And believe me, you know.
So when I worked on the FBI task force from 2010 to 2020, and I went to undercover programs. I did undercover stuff, but for my whole police. So the task force it takes one person from each police department around the area and puts it on the task force. I was the only one. I was the only police officer for my whole department with a top secret clearance that worked there, that answered to the chief himself. And ego this big. I mean, because I was the one they chose, man. And every time this happens, it's like, let's go. But the problem with me is it got so big, my family ended up being here, and my job and my ego were up here, man. And that's when it got out of control, man. And that's when
can I ask you something about the war on drugs? I mean, you think about it, it's a never ending. Never ending. And the reason why that is that our government's intelligence agencies are bringing it in. And they're blaming it on cartels and all. Meanwhile, they taught the cartels how to grow the poppy fields in Mexico. They've been in Afghanistan for 25 years growing. Like, I mean, wow, what a betrayal. Like, I mean, you know, and then they put guys like me away for life. And then meanwhile, it's not just drugs, it's weapons and children, child trafficking.
Yeah.
Like, what a betrayal.
That's
I mean, I had
you're putting your ass on the line dealing with fucking scumbags, like literally people that have no, they'll shoot you first. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and this is what you get. How many officers have died of have holes in their families on this war on drugs? You know, it's like the war on terror. The head of ISIS is now is the head of Syria now.
Yeah, I mean, it's it was for me.
Yeah.
You kind of hear about it, but when that ATF agent got killed in the Fast and Furious case by the weapons that the government sold the cartels, he was
Yep.
killed by a automatic weapon that they sold the cartels.
Yep.
It was
Right.
traced back to, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, like when especially the way you are, like you say, the first one in, like, you really, when you believe something, like I believed in our crew and what we're doing at making money and having a good life. Like, man, I was dug right into that, man. Like,
That's all you knew, Bobby. You didn't have a chance, though. That's why. And then my question was going to be is like, but you kind of seem like though you always had a little bit of a heart. Like a lot of people who grew up like you, like wouldn't have that heart, man. But I mean, that's.
Well, but what I don't tell people is that I had plenty of opportunities to go to college, or I had scholarships. But I turned it down, man. It just, at that time, I always thought if I make a little bit of money, maybe my family will accept me or something, or you know what I mean. Like I don't know. It's just stupid, right?
I'll tell you, as messed up as it is, that the one kid I was telling you about with the crack and the gun and all this stuff, I said the same speech to every juvenile I arrested when I was down there, man. And I must have said it, 150 times. But this one kid, because I told him, I was like, dude, what is your future plans? Like, do you want to live in, the Section 8 parts of Richmond for your whole life and probably die or be? So, like 2 years later, he showed up in a Marine Corps uniform at the police station. And he was like, he's like, that saved my life. So just that little one piece, it keeps you doing this stuff. That's because in 23 years, it might be 2 or 3 people, but that's 2 or 3 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As messed up as the whole system is, when they say, like, I mean, when you become a cop, you think you're going to make a difference. You're not going to. You might make a small difference. You might make a big difference in a couple people, but you're never going to like impact the whole.
Yeah.
You arrest one person, 2 people commit the same crime the next day for the first time, and it's just it's just going like this. But when you get to see like that 1 or 2 people that come up to you and tell you that, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah, it was like when we had our boxing gym. We kept the kids. We had the best coaches, the best trainers for them, and a lot of them came from broken homes and that. And we, like, here's the double life I was leading too, right? By day, Mr. Bobby, the coach, the philosopher, telling them what books to get, telling them, then at night I'm going bull batting somewhere. Even that plays on you, eventually, right? When you have a profound something that happened to you and it has that effect on you, then you start thinking of, it's just remarkable how it hits you, and then how all these things you start thinking about that you wish you didn't think about, because then you think you're getting soft or whatever, right? And you can't do that. And the guys I was rolling it with, right? Right. So
it's kind of like the same thing with Keith. He couldn't be soft in the police department, and he had to hold in his addiction because cops in a way are a gang in a way. You fuck with a cop, dude, they're gonna fucking.
You're one of the biggest gangs in the world, though.
Yeah.
It's Cause I mean, I think I was only out of the academy I was off of field training for 3 months, and I had a car accident. I mean, a DUI stop. And the kid I didn't know he was a special needs kid,
right?
Because he was hammered. I mean, he was like a 2-3. Right. He was drunk.
Right.
And when I'm cleaning out my car, the officer that was supposed to be watching him wasn't watching him. And in handcuffs, he took off because we were on the side of the highway. He took off and jumped in front of an 18-wheeler. So that, I mean, I was brand new, and that messed me up, man. But sure. I was not going to tell any other cops that messed me up because I didn't want to be labeled. Yeah.
Well, as men, as this being a boy in your family, you're taught by other men that you got to hold your water. You got to be tough. You know what I mean, right?
Well, even at a very young age, my my brother and I were fishing, and my grandfather passed away when I was 12 in front of us while we were fishing.
Oh, shit.
And just from that day, I was crying and stuff. And, my dad came up and he said, turn that shit off. He said, turn it off right now. And it's the way it was, man.
I know a guy, their own crew whacked him because he cried at his mother's funeral.
Straight up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He considered that as weak. Yeah.
Because they thought he was weak. Yeah. They can't trust him anymore because he's weak. Oh, yeah. That's what they do, Keith. Like, one sign of weakness could get you.
It's your mother, though, bro. Damn.
Like once you're targeted, Keith, that started it. They were going, he's crying on his own mother. How dare he? And all of a sudden, and then the lights started going. So every little thing that he did, they blew it up to be, something else. And all of a sudden, he's going to betray us. He's talking to it, and all of a sudden they whacked him. But started from him, crying at his mother's funeral. Like, I mean, my God, like, what the fuck, man? Like, this stuff like that.
Your mother's like that's just.
Bobby, Art, I got to ask you this because I'm just curious, man.
Sure. Ask me anything.
Being in law enforcement myself, you probably had dealings with law enforcement that were paid to be on your side, right?
That's right.
And how would you figure out who to approach with that? Would you tell like a vulnerability in them, or would you just propose it?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody owned a bar. It was either, all the bars were all locked up from guys that we knew. So when they have undercover cop, like they're human, they like a lot of the girls, and they try to get the girls. So a lot of it, how we got, I'll tell you one in particular that he liked the girl, and she told us, hey, this cop's, he's all over me. So we said, okay. And that's how we compromised him. But once he compromised, he was kind of happy. Like he didn't care. Right. Right. He was already into the drugs himself. Like, you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Another one, it was a friend of a friend that, hey, Bobby, my cousin Danny, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, hey, man, I know I'm a cop. I'm not trying to say, yeah, man, but is there any way I can make some extra money? I mean, and there you go. Like some of them, they approach you, what I mean? But the three that we compromised, one was our crew, but then other associates, they had their own. And they're famous cops here, and they're five brothers, they were compromised, but then they betrayed my friend Tommy, God rest his soul, but Tommy Bogiades was head of the Greek mob here, and things went south on the deal. They started shortchanging him. Like if you have a nightclub, he would hire them for security, right? Mm-hmm. And then other things, right? And they started getting gritty, and then they started ripping them off and stuff like that. So when Tommy came down on him, and then all of a sudden, they planted fucking dope on him. Who's gonna, what I mean, right? So he goes away. He's doing 18 months waiting for the trial. He ends up beating the beast, and the reason how he beat the beast, he had no fingerprints on any of the bags, or what I mean, right? So,
were they trying to get away from that? So that's why they did that to him.
Yeah. So Tommy ended up suing the cops, right? He asked for $5 million. He got $2 million out of it. Jesus. On that piece. Way to go, Tom. Right? But that's how dirty. Like, I mean, like fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Because honestly, I've never seen. I get asked this all the time in 23 years. I've heard rumors and stories, but I've never seen. I've never seen a cop like.
Yeah.
Like that, like
because
dirty,
you're
dirty
in
West
Virginia, you were in New York, different ball game. If you were Bobby's at, different ball game.
Yeah.
Because there's organized crime
under there. Like I say, in my neighborhood, there was guys that ended up being
you'd see one or two.
So if I went and talked to them and say, you want to make 20 grand, I'm sure they would say, yeah, doing something. You know what I mean? But I never did that. You know what I mean? Right? But.
Yeah, because you see the stories of like the what is it? What precinct was it? Where the guy was running cocaine up and down from New York, NYPD. That dude was driving his brand new Corvettes to work and stuff.
Oh, was that
Oh,
the
Mike Dow.
75th?
I know
Is that
Mike.
Yeah,
Mike,
Michael Dell's
Mike,
story. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's from the 7-5.
Yeah, that's
The
crazy.
7-5 documentary, and
Yeah,
I
that's
was supposed
crazy,
to meet him
man.
in New York for an interview now, but I have his number. Mike's a great, Mike's a good dude.
But look at the other two cops that
Keith,
were
we gotta
doing
get him
hits
on here.
for gas pipe. You know what I mean? Actually,
Castro?
one of his uncles was a mobster. Like he should not even got into the police station, but they were trying to get more police officers, so they slipped that little detail by. So he was already connected to to mobsters. You know what I mean, right? So.
Well, and the mafia cops too, the ones that were killing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Eppolito and
Caracappa.
Caracappa. Yeah, right. Wow. Sometimes situations put police in that situation when they get compromised, when they got a wife at home. Now, how many cops, police officers, fellow people that are going through a divorce, not by cheating, but just going through a divorce because
90% of them.
stress job. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, there's so many ways it could happen. You know what I mean, right? It's just, in my case, our case, I just happened to be lucky that this guy just happened to end up with a girl.
My great grandfather, when they moved to Richmond, he owned like a restaurant and a couple, I think, like convenience store, gas stations. But I was told that they're coming over here from they're Catholic Lebanese, which is very similar to Catholic Italian and growing up in beliefs and stuff like that. But yeah, my grandfather used to say they used to run numbers in the back.
Yeah.
And he said every month he'd be at the gas station and my great grandfather would give him a little bag and two cops would come up and he would just hand the kid would hand the cops the bag and they would go on
like a cop will pull you over and then extort you. There's stories like that where a cop will pull you over and say, hey, we know what you're doing at that thing. We'll shut you down. Or we want fucking, this much, per week. You know what I mean?
Listen, every successful mobster has police.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's doing this for so long and I've never even kind of come up around me. So I'm very curious about how it goes.
I'm thinking it's because of where you're at, though, your location or your area. What I mean?
I mean, if I was like, there are definitely stories of like DC police if they were DC, but yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't a location like New York, LA. Yeah.
Like even here, like in the north end of Toronto, you got two types of mafia gangs. You got your Negretta and then you got the Calabreses, right? And they run gambling houses and all that. And these people, they let them do it and operate, right? And how they get by is when they're moonlighting as security guards. Now here they are, you know what I mean, doing private security in a illegal gambling place. You know what I mean? So.
Kevin's here. We were just talking about you, buddy.
Oh, is he? Oh, hey, Kevin. Right on.
So, hey, Bobby. So, when you were getting out, when you started changing stuff around, was it hard to get out? Did they give you some shit? Like, how'd that work?
No. Okay. Dean was inside. He was in prison, and Johnny got pinched with in a pool. So the leadership was gone. I was kind of like in charge now, right? But so there was actually me, Joey Millie left, and Danny, and
keep going.
And at that boxing club with when we have our weekend raising money for the boxing clubs because the kids are trapped. Guys, because certain part of our money supply went down. Dean went down on a kidnapping beef, extortion kidnapping, and Johnny got pinched in I think it was Amsterdam or something. He got pinched over there by Interpol. So we lost our leadership, like that had the connections. That was, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So guys reached out, so there started being all kinds of new guys coming around, and I didn't trust them. You know what I mean, right? So there was a whole thing of that, plus at home family, plus after the Interpol RCMPs, which is like our equivalent to FBI, they started going through my garbage at home, and that just, right. And for me, plus my drug addiction, fucking wow, Right?
So nobody really like it. I mean, I guess just from movies and stuff, it's like once you're in, you're in.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Because it's like you're as good as your last dollar you're making. You know what I'm saying? You stop making money, they don't care where you go. You know what I mean? That's how it became like that, because everybody started. It's like when you have success, you shoot yourself in the foot. Like I said, you got a big ego, feel like you're untouchable, you're cocky, you're loose, you're not taking the proper precautions, you always got heat up your ass, you know what I mean, right? You're running around with these broads doing this and that, I mean, wow, like me, I was never running around like that, like it just wasn't my style, right? Just I love my kids, I love my wife, you know what I mean, right? I was never that, I turned, guys used to say that I was gay. Some of the broads I turned away,
Bobby, yeah, you sent me some pictures of the ones. though. Bobby, you're the broad father. The broad father.
Yeah, that's the broad father. Yeah.
So when did you get clean? How long ago was it? How was that?
I ended up going to rehab in Montreal, right?
Okay.
How long ago?
Oh shit. So I started. So we're talking 1998, 97, something like that, right? So I'll put it this way: from 97 to 99, I struggled. That's when I started to try to get up, but I slipped up a few. But I was even getting it delivered in the rehab.
Yeah,
it happens. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but then I just stopped. I had to, it didn't. We preach of having honor and doing the right thing and beating up guys for being unhonorable, doing stuff, but all of a sudden here I am being unhonorable, taking the drug over my family. You know what I mean? So that played on me, right? So and plus too, when you're coming down off that too, you actually realize that the world doesn't evolve around you, because everybody that I was close to, the world evolved around me.
Yep.
Right? So it wasn't deliberate, it's just the way it worked out, because I have a very strong personality, and when you're throwing money around, okay, this is the way this is gonna go, boom, right? This way, you know what I mean? Like you have the power and control over everything, over them, right? And in the world
but
of
then though, when you try to do something good, I don't know if you ever saw that, Keith, but did you ever see though when the superheroes were like cleaning the windows on the buildings and like Bobby started that.
Yeah.
He started that.
There was a brand new, it was a friend of mine, what was his name? His name was anyways, he turned me on to this. It was called Angels on My Shoulders. It was a children's foundation, and the government wouldn't back them properly. They kept promising money and stuff like that, right? So I came in. So I had a lot of money to, first of all, I was thinking of, hey, this is something legit, right? I didn't even think about trying to use it as a money line, you know what I mean? It was something legit. It was something that I needed to do personally just to clear my conscience. Like I did so many things to take the guilt away. I felt guilt. I felt like a coward at times. Some of the stuff I saw, like when I was telling you about that child in the bathroom, we did nothing, man. I thought that was coward. We should have right at, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, so we needed a good gimmick. A lot of people do runs. A lot of people, do runs or hold a barbecue. Anything to raise money. So now I got connected. I can rent a hall and have the the moneymaker, right? I can do whatever, you know what I mean, right? So, anyways, I came up with this idea. So when the idea came, I go, every kid's got a toy in there, right? Because the reason how I know this, because my daughter was sick. Her platelets were low. She was in sick kids, and I didn't notice. Kids have video games, and the boys got all their superheroes. You know what I mean? I said, wouldn't that be cool if they can come down? So that's how it is, right?
That's awesome, dude. That's
yeah,
fucking-
dude. That was like nation, like that was on the news over here. And then I'm talking to you 2 months ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the one that did that. He created that."
Yeah.
But didn't they try fucking you because you were?
Well, they did. Oh, okay, now
We were
that's what I'm
talking about Johnny A. Light. We were talking about Johnny A. Light being
Well,
what do you
this is
call
how
it?
greedy.
Like,
So here's these people coming to me for my help, right? Because it costs money to rent halls, I can get them a hall for free. You know what I mean? We can raise money, you know, whatever, right? So now when they started getting successful, all of a sudden they don't want somebody like me being a representative. Yeah.
They
Right.
bring you in, and then once they get everything in place, then boom.
Yeah.
And then if something goes wrong, if one of them do it, they're just going to blame the criminal.
Yeah.
That's why I say about John A. Light being the councilman, you know. And
I know everything I would do good, you know what I mean? Like that would be the stigma. Sure, I got reeled in, you know what I mean? Like
I can't believe though that was you, man. When you told me that, I was like, holy shit. Because me and my
man.
brother, I remember we were watching it though, like with the Superman and freaking Spider-Man on the
I've seen the
Well,
videos.
it caught on. It caught
Yeah, it
on
was
everywhere, right? It caught on everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And put, you know, it was just disgusting what they did to me. Like I mean, I didn't want any, like, you know, I don't do things when I do something like that, you know, that's from my soul, that's from my heart. Because when you're in a sick kids hospital and you see these kids with the spirit they have, you know what I mean? When they're got brain cancer or leukemia or bone cancer, like, I mean, I don't know, Carrie, you're walking out there with tears in your eyes, man. I don't care, man. Like that had a profound effect on me too. Seeing children suffering, like they're suffering, but they're happy, like, you know. But the stress on the parents, right? You got people flying to our country just for that, to see a certain, you know, oncologist, you know, right? So my intentions was, you know what? They don't have to report this money I'm making. You know, here you go. You know what I'm saying, right? You know, that's where my head was at. But my practices and my background is going to damage the foundation. So,
that bothers me, man, Bobby. It really does, because like you know, I go around and I do substance abuse talks to first responders because it's an issue. First responders and military. And just being in recovery for the past 7 years, man, I tell them at the end of it, I say for my inner circle of people in the 12-step program that I talk to, I trust felons, prostitutes, thieves, whatever. I said, I trust them more than I trust 90% of you. I tell them right in their face, man. I said, they're great people, dude. They've turned their life around or whatever.
Yeah.
And for somebody,
I was never judgmental on people, anyways, because who am I to be judging anybody? You know what I mean? Like especially with a lot of women get bad names. Oh, this one, fuck that one, and so what? We're all doing the same fucking thing. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with having sex with somebody, having an experience? Oh, she's a whore. I was never judgmental like that, you know, with anybody. You know what I mean, right? And I think also me being like a free spirited that way, and in a lot of things got me in the door to do good things, right? Like, you know what I mean, right? So, you know, like.
So when was it though, Bobby? Like, what was the year like when you were like, I'm done with it? I mean, I know that it's still enticing, and sometimes, you know, you almost get sucked back. But like, when, like, was it when you were in like that rehab and started doing all that stuff? When you were like, I got to change my whole life here. I got to change this around.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things. Well, one of the most things that kept going on mine was being hypocritical. Here I am lecturing others, young people, like at the boxing club, you know, don't do that, you know, and you know what I mean? it's just hypocritical, man. It's just who am I to be given? You know what I mean? Like just things like that just started bothering me. That isn't being real. You know what I mean, right? If I did that, if I did that now, then I would feel a lot better about it. But I'm doing that while I'm fucking, nice guy at day, bad guy at night stuff. Like, I mean, fuck, man.
Oh, dude, I remember I used to go, Keith. I went in for my 1 year coin, blasted. I was blasted. So I even told Kevin on his show. I said I was a fraud, and then by being a fraud, I think you got to go through those phases. I don't know what it is though, but it was like the first time in rehab. People pushed me in there. I wasn't ready. I get out. I mean, I've been through a ton of rehabs, but whatever. My point being though is, then though, like when I was a fraud and preaching and stuff, I was on the news and everything. Well, no, I was clean though that day, but not too much
that
time
day.
after.
Yeah.
That day, and then I interviewed Brandon Novak, and I was clean. And then it was back in like 2018 is when I slipped again. But then I look back at it, I was like, man, I was a fucking fraud, and that just hits you, man.
Me too. Like, that's how I feel.
If you're gonna talk about sobriety, and you're fucking out there on the street using and shit like that.
Yeah.
I can't do it now anymore. Like after I finally made up my mind, I can't lie.
You know what I got tired of doing is lying to the people that you love. You know,
I can't lie.
Fucking, you know what I mean?
I can't lie. That's one thing my father keeps telling me. He goes,
you
want freedom, stop lying.
Like we're in prison getting it slipped in, you know, like you know what I mean? Like fucking.
Oh, I lie, Bobby. I lie about if I had a ham sandwich, I'll tell you it was a turkey sandwich. I was that bad, like it just from constantly lying. But now, because I don't know what happened, but it's just I can't lie. Like I just say what and it's the most, and that's how you find your real people, because you're being your real self.
And you also learn about yourself even more, because I never knew really what I was really made of. I thought when you can go out and do violence and all of that made you a man. No. There's so many other aspects of
what makes you a man. I believe Bobby. You know what I say? I used to think the guy that knocked the fucking guy out in the bar was the tough guy. The true tough guy is the one that can actually open up and let his shit out, because then it's saving your life. But the hard guys don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
It was especially like when I did some of the undercover stuff. I mean, there was like police department Keith, then there was FBI Keith, then there was undercover, and then there was I was like 4 or 5 different. I could just change. I didn't know. Yeah, I was never constant. I was changing who I was depending on what environment I was in.
Keith, when you were undercover and taking out the neo-Nazi stuff, were around that time? Was that around the time like when you were getting clean, or were you using then?
That was before I was using.
Okay.
Yeah.
What got you started into using?
Blew my back out. Went to the doc. So
listen to this.
So in in Copland, it's alcohol is just everywhere. We'd have a bad back in the early 2000s. We would call it choir practice, and we would drink in the parking lot. So your shift was over. You had a bad day, we drank. You had a good day, we drank. That's just what we did. And then it just starts, instead of it being like a weekend thing, it started becoming an everyday thing with me. So it started ramping up. And then I remember the child that was deceased in the car that I told you about was one of the first times I remember not wanting to go to choir practice or happy hour. And I just went home and got blasted by myself. And that was 7. So I worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It was 7 in the morning. And then, those days started coming a little more, but it wasn't that big of that big of an issue. But I ruptured 3 discs in my back, and they said surgery or epidurals. And I said, well, I don't want to have surgery. Let's do epidurals. And Percocet, man, first time it was game over. I love that shit, man. I loved how it made me feel. And like I said, I never did drugs, so addiction didn't cross my mind. And then it started creeping in because I'm like, I'm going through these awfully fast. I'm not doing, So I told the doctor, I said, man, I think I'm getting addicted to this because I got to take 1 I got to take 2 instead of 1 because 1 doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're just getting used to it, man. We got to up your dose. And we upped it. And then after I was on that for a while, I knew I was hooked because at first I didn't even know what I was wondering why I always got the flu. when I didn't have, but I didn't even realize I was dope sick, but I was dope sick. Yeah. And by the time I realized that, I didn't give a shit. And I went back to the doctor again and I said, hey, man, can we up my dose again? He said, sure, let's up it again.
Yeah, me. That's all I thought about is making sure I had some shit in the morning when I got up, and then making sure, like, you know, that was.
I was afraid to go to sleep at times if I didn't have nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, go ahead though. So Keith, you were. So this doctor he just kept filling for you, right?
Well, hey man, that's another racket. The pharmaceuticals. Yeah. You know, a patient cured, a customer lost to them. You know. And
then I started. Then I would doctor shop and just go to different doctors.
Yeah.
And you know, I would just show them that I work for the FBI, and then they're like, "Oh, you here because you're a trustworthy." Yeah. And then when that finally went away, because I knew I couldn't sustain that shit and keep my job. And when those went away, man, my alcohol just it went through the roof. I was blackout drunk every day for a while, and it just wreaked havoc on my home. Yeah. So finally, I was overseas, and you shouldn't get in a argument with a pharmacist in Beirut telling them that you want something stronger, because sometimes that doesn't work out so well for you. No. But by the time I got home, my wife just had enough, and she was just like, "It's me and the kids, or booze and pills."
That was the ultimatum I got too. You know.
So I finally went. I finally had to make the phone call to the police department, told them, tell them what was going on, and went to rehab, man. Haven't used since. But yeah, man, those pills. And it's crazy because I would have argued with you before I got hooked. I would have argued with you that addiction is your choice. I would have. I argued that. I was like, you did it, but I didn't choose that shit, man. I went to a doctor for a legitimate injury, and before I knew it, it was game over. So it completely changed my perspective on all that. And I even there was an overdose in one of the bathrooms where I work, and the guy was deceased. He was mid-20s, and I almost got in a fist fight because they were taping it off, and I went in there. I was a detective on call, so I went in there and I was like, "Everybody get out," because everybody wants to see. Whatever. Yeah. So we're taping it off, and one of the guys comes up to me. He goes, "Hey man, are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm fine." But I guess he could tell. And he was but he said, "Why are you so upset? It's just a junkie." And I lost it. I absolutely lost it on him, because I'm like, you have no idea what that dude went through or why he did it. I guarantee you, he didn't. His goal was not to end up dead on the bathroom floor. My experience. And then I started finding out that there's a lot more people like me that are firefighters, paramedics, blah blah blah. That use.
You know what I find that is a very heavy manipulation when people are using their credentials on you. Well, he's a MD. He's got an MD in Harvard, and they use that on the media, like expert. He's a graduate. This graduate that. Meanwhile, they're the worst son of a fucking. You know what I mean? Right.
We had. When I was with the FBI, there was an actual FBI agent who I forgot what he had, but it was a legitimate illness that he got prescribed opiates, and he got hooked so bad that he was checking out and stealing powdered heroin from evidence and filling it back with baby formula.
Yeah.
And he had 2 young kids. I think he's doing 17 years, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I even know guys that committed suicide. A good friend of mine that I grew up with, he wrote a note. He made a tape, and then you hear him load the shotgun, and
made a tape.
People are afraid. They don't know they don't know how to beat it. You're up on charges. You're going to jail. How are you going to get off it? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the fear. Like I understood the fear. I didn't understand I'm doing, but after he was on heroin and the 80 milligram Oxycontin, you know what I mean? Wow, he can't go maybe, as soon as he wakes up, he better have something or he's going to be fucking, because I know for a fact, the way I used to feel, I just wanted to die. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, I can't do that.
I used to pray for God to take me. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. just the way it makes you feel that everything's all wrong, and you're like you just feel like a real like this high, you know.
And you're all that freaking what is it word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Like like humid, but but the you know what I mean, like that hot, flashy, freaking like and even like when you're almost it's like you're almost hallucinating. Like the dashboard on your car, the lights are all bright. Like when you start getting real sick and shit.
Yeah, like me, I'm a pacer. You know what I mean? So like I'm doing this shit in front of my family. You know, like you know what I mean, right? Which I got things on my mind, or always lying. You know what I mean? Always fucking lying, right? But you withdraw that so fucking hard, man. You know what I mean? And
I don't wish that on anybody, man. And I tell you what, Ben. Like I said, my ego was up here, and I was the only one in this position.
Mine too.
And now I got to call the guy and tell him I'm a fucking hooked on. It was. I've never been more scared in my life, man.
Yeah, I know, and I'll tell you, my ego was so big too that because of my ego, you know, things got really bad for me because of my ego. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't want anybody to know. So I was too prideful. I didn't want to show anybody what their weakness. Somebody taking a cheap shot at me. So many things going through my mind. But I'll tell you, my ego has done so much fucking damage. You know what I mean, to me personally and relationships I had. You know, right? Just over that shit, over that fucking garbage, man. I'm telling you.
Can't hear you, Loomis. You're muted or something, buddy.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that ego, because when I'm off, sometimes I'll hit the mute, but ego is the freaking worst. And once you subside that ego and just like it's the most freeing feeling. Yeah. And being honest.
And especially when you want to make amends with people. I actually phoned Kevin on, I think it was a Saturday or something, and I didn't know what to do. And the way this man, Kevin, the way he just, you know.
He can break it down for you, can he?
Yeah, man. Like, wow. You know, he's got a gift.
He does.
You know?
Yeah, he took the time. Oh, I remember that because you tried to get in touch with me. I told you I was in the middle of trying to help my pop. I'm so sorry. And then
I tell you, man.
I asked Kevin, and if he had no hesitation.
You know what you want to do, but you know you can't because you're trying to change. Like you're so conflicted in so many things. I was conflicted about this, conflicted about that. You know, feeling guilty about this, feeling guilty. Like I mean, you know, wow. And you know, it's just this is what I mean when you're a good person and you do good things and good things come back and I think Kevin Donaldson for that, like, you know, his time, like you know, right? He really helped me, man. You know, like, you know, right? Like I don't have all the answers. I have all the answers for everybody else except for myself.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's easy to make a decision for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So.
There's Kevin. Love you guys. You guys are doing great things.
Oh, hey, hey, man, we love you, Kevin, and thank you.
Yeah, no, Kevin took that time though, man. Like he didn't know you from Adam, and I just said, "Well, you talk to my friend Bobby." And he's like, "Give me his number." Didn't he said one time? He told me he wanted to come out and drive out to you one time. He told me.
He goes, "Oh, come on, you just let me know," you know. But sometimes I'll have like maybe a few hours of a meltdown, and then when you talk to somebody like Kevin, you know what I mean, and all of a sudden it's like.
Yeah, well, sometimes
you have to do. You got to let it out.
Man, it's like when you get an ache for if you want to have a drink or take a pill or something, it only lasts for so long and then it goes away, right? You know.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes
it just makes things worse. Yeah, and it makes things worse though, especially when you get hooked because you already have a normal problem, and then once the drug comes in, life's hard enough. You add drugs to it, forget about it. You know.
You know, just but sometimes like the last year of my life, a lot of the stuff that's happened, and then the shit I got myself involved in, you know, I was kind of set up to that and all that stuff, man. You know, I was like, you know, whatever they get out, I get out, they pull me back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's got to be, Bobby, that's another addiction for you, though, is all the crime that you did and stuff from all that easy money. I mean, I'm sure there's times that that's pulling you that way.
Well, no, it is.
You got a great job. You got a freaking home. Where's the house? Is it Aruba?
Yeah. Like, you know,
Like, I mean, he became very
It's
successful.
the action. It's the action that I'm addicted to. I'm still am, man. I'm like, I gotta fucking, what I mean? It's the action, man. Like,
You got to still
You know,
pull it back.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
I've turned down a promotion because I don't want to sit behind the desk, man.
yeah,
I can't do it.
yeah, no,
need action.
exactly. When I have too much time on my hands, that's when fucking, I'm vulnerable, right?
Well,
Yeah. So what I done, when I retire, I'm going to Aruba, and I'm going to be helping people with cancer and stuff like that. And that's what I want to do, man. In my retirement, I want to help people, man. You know what I mean?
It's awesome,
right?
dude.
And get better. Man.
Yeah. What was that place though? I think you sent me though. It was being built or something. Was that a house? Are you building a house out there?
No, that's just renovations. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I must have heard you wrong. That's okay. I thought you said something today about your place out there or whatever, or you were just okay. So you were renovating something out there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I really want to help people with that, because as soon as you're told you got cancer, you think it's a death sentence. But I know from me beating it with the cannabis treatment, and my friend Lee has cured like over 4,000 people now. He was recognized by the top oncologist in Ontario here as a cancer cure, right? So, there's a cure, man. It's all a rocket, man. And all those people died, and all these people running for cancer research. They've been doing cancer research. I'm going on 60 in February. They've been doing cancer research since then. And even like, come on.
Well, it's just like in the early 90s, the AIDS epidemic, where people were dying of AIDS.
They created that too, man.
But all of a sudden, Magic Johnson gets AIDS, and he goes to Europe and comes back, and he's completely cured. But they can't find it. Come on, man.
Yeah. It's all a rocket, man. You know what? Like, I mean, it's just the way. Oh, but they can get a vaccine that cures. You know what I mean? Like
well, no. It is definitely a racket. And what makes me sick?
Yeah.
I just right now talking about that big C word just it kills me because my situation too. I don't like
man. Like my heart goes out to you, man. Like.
I know, but everyone goes through tough times. I don't want to look for sympathy or nothing, but it's just living with it.
No, it's not, man. But it's like you're going through it, and my dad's going through his, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I just kind of think that there's probably something out there that can help them, and they're not doing it. It pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, and that for me is determined. It's just like, you know what? Like the cure is worse than the disease.
Yep.
Don't make sense.
Well, it is. It's all poison. Yeah.
I mean, and it's also like Bobby, like me and you were talking when Loomis had to step away at the beginning. It's just like the addiction stuff, man. The ibogaine treatments and all that stuff in Mexico are working for people. But they're going to look at it up here. They make too much. They make too much money off people being hooked on drugs.
Right.
It's because of the rehabs. It's the rehabs, the insurance companies, all of that.
That's right. Well, they all work together, right? So, we all work together. If you don't get approved by this doctor, then you're not getting insurance. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you got high blood pressure and you got some pain. Okay, we'll give you the pain meds and but once you don't want to fucking you start off with maybe 2 prescriptions. All of a sudden, 3 months later, you got 6. And then 3 months later from that, you got 10. And then when you start questioning them, then they start, you know what I mean? Then they really start playing games with you.
And it's crazy, man, because when I got off, during addiction and all that stuff, I had my anxiety was through the roof, man.
Mine
and
too.
As soon as I got clean and I got off of it for a while, I don't take anything. And I'm just, I take no medication right now. None.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, my routine in the morning, I'll stretch, I'll do some push-ups, some sit-ups, you know what I mean, right? And just that, and I eat well, and that is just helped me just with my anxiety, you know what I mean? Because
I still wake up with it, Bobby. Something like what you just said is perfect. Like the second I open up my eyes, sometimes I don't even want to look at my phone. There's sometimes there's the pressure, but then I get down, I'll do some push-ups, get the blood moving and stuff.
I think when we're not active, that's where we're vulnerable. I know I am. Right?
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
You got to know, I know myself. You know what I mean? You know yourself, and I'll tell you, man, me sitting around not being productive, you know what I mean?
It's well, like doing when I got clean, I used to live in the gym when I was younger, and then obviously I stopped when I was an addict and stuff. But I'll tell you what, man, I miss a day of the gym now, and it's like I need my fix. You know what I mean? It just makes
you get a high from that. You get a high from the gym.
I do.
Yeah, man.
That's the best stuff to do. Eating healthy too is I mean, that's I'm on a big kick
with
that.
I mean.
Right
when you have a big support system too, you know what I mean? When you have a support system too, man.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I hit the lottery on that, man. Because from the wife to my brothers and sisters to my parents, I mean, they did nothing but support me through all that shit. So I was very lucky, very fortunate for that.
And ever since I met Bobby, I met you. Ever since I met Kevin, and then I met Keith, it's like, oh wow, like you said, you counted your friends.
What does he do? Yeah. What button are you
throws again? I know what he's gonna say when you count your friends on one hand, but
it is, man. But it's and it's just I don't know how religious you are, but it's like I think I had to go through all this stuff for a reason. And I think my reason, like when I got 3 years left, 3.5-ish, I mean, I'm totally just going into, I'm going to continue. I do a lot of presentations now, a couple a month for, police departments and stuff like that, to let people know, like, hey, man, because most of the times what cops will do, or they'll wait till they get in a domestic or a DUI, and then they lose their job.
Yeah.
So, I try to go tell them, like, it's not a career ender anymore, man. Just raise your hand and get some help. You know what I'm saying? So when I retire, I'm definitely going to stay in the, the substance abuse stuff with people. Because, like you said, man, I think I have a penance to pay. I have a debt to pay.
I have a big debt to pay. Trust me, man. But you know what, man? When you're giving off positive energy for yourself, it goes on to others, man. You know what I mean?
And I've had a handful of law enforcement, military people. Just like addiction. A lot of people don't get it the first time, and some people never get it. But it's just like that one boy that joined the military, man. I've had a few success stories, and that makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Like everybody, I find has their own rock bottom, as we call it, right? Right? And a lot of people, have different things that you would think, well, he just lost his family. That should be rock bottom. No, he's got to hurt himself in a car accident and almost die before he hits rock bottom. Mm-hmm. No, you know what I mean? Like, wow, I seen some guys, their rock bottom was just they ended up homeless, and that was the only option. Just they lost.
Yeah, there's different things of rock bottom, like there's no competition.
But they lost everything.
Rock bottom's different.
Been prevented, but they don't know. My problem too was I didn't know what it like to feel to be normal. Right? Yeah, you know what I mean? Because we're jacking up first thing in the morning, and we're getting our energy, we're getting things done, right? Right? But I was so afraid of, wow, what is normal like? How am I going to know if I'm normal? Like, you know what I mean? I had a lot of questions, right? So, but knowledge is power. Time. And when you learn, and then, like you said, when you meet some good people in the program, you know what I mean? I meet good people just right here, man. Here we all are, man. Like, fucking,
Yeah, man. I mean,
I've been stuck in this house for the past year and a half, though, helping out my papa. And I mean, from talking to Keith, talking to you, talking to Kevin, talking to, my buddy AJ, my buddy Jansen. That's what I think it's all about is, that line, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's the people that you have in, like, your circle, I think that are very important. That's what's very important.
I know. Yeah. It's just, but that heroin for me was just strong, man. Like, it's just.
Oh, couldn't forget about it. I almost lost my leg. Yeah. Well, I was on fentanyl, but it was terrible. Terrible. That I'm lucky to be here.
Those were bad enough for me. I couldn't even imagine if I.
Well, the pill sickness, though, is just as bad. Pill sickness is terrible, dude. How about the story? You know, Brett Favre, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, he was dope saying he's like no more, and he dumped them all down the toilet. Then he started though reaching into the toilet, dude, trying to find the right back. Like, yeah. I bet I'm just gonna be honest though. I bet you he was like, "Why the hell did I dump him?" Let's be honest.
It was Brett Favre. He probably had to make one phone call and he had a hole in it. You know.
Yeah. All that.
But I mean, that's another one, man. These athletes.
Well, once the fame and the lights are all over, man, that's what you know what I mean. Like,
but while they're say playing football or whatever, I mean, those guys are playing hurt every week, and I'm sure that their team doctors just shoving shit in their mouth.
Yeah,
and then they get out, and then no exit plan, let's help them get off.
I struggle all the time with stuff, man. Like it's just when you have a good support system, like I was saying, man, it makes it all easier.
Yeah.
Before I'm not saying any names or anything like that. Before I forget, we used to go to New York City every month, right on Canal Street, and meet our doctor. I'm not going to say his name, and get our Suboxones and everything like that. And then we found out that he was a Suboxone doctor, but he was also the doctor for the New York Yankees. So what you're just saying, no, Keith, is what happens is, when the athletes know they're in pain, they start taking the pills, and then they get put on the Suboxone. Your mind would be blown if you knew how many professional athletes were like taking that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't blame them. I mean, like, you can't, if you feel like that, don't stop. But Bobby said's right too. It goes with rock stars, pro wrestlers, all that shit. When they're used to being out in the crowd and everything's going nuts, and you go back and sit in a hotel room and that adrenaline's just all still going nuts. That's when they have to take something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Like for me, it's the action. Even like right now, this minute, this second, man. Like, if somebody gives me a call, hey man, I use your help.
I get it, man. I was down in Richmond helping.
Taking a piss.
Yeah, I was down in Richmond helping my family out with my dad. He's not doing so hot, and there was a big shooting, and I just felt I was so mad that I wasn't there. I was just so pissed that I was like, God, man, I don't know what this, but yeah, man. So definitely after this, I'm gonna have Loomis text you my number, man. So you need anything, brother, you hit me up, man.
And same here, man. Same here, brother. Like, I mean,
but I really appreciate you coming on here and getting vulnerable, man, and telling us that stuff. I'm sure. I mean, that wasn't easy to talk about.
No, it's not. Plus, I'm not used to being like, and it's I'm pretty nervous too.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Bobby. I did Kevin's podcast. I've maybe done three or four. And I get when I go talk to a class, I get nervous every time. Like, I'm literally like, until I get about 5 or 10 minutes into it. And then after I did Loomis' show, he asked me to do this, man. Yeah. This is way.
It's just like so when you start feeling comfortable, then.
Yeah. But this stuff's way outside my comfort zone too.
My life was shit.
But you turned it around, man.
Like for me, like just reliving some stuff,
Yeah. But you turned it around, man, and you're here for a reason, and you're going to do good shit, man. So
that's right. Yeah.
And Bobby, though, we would love man to have you. Like,
so true, man.
We could set up an actual pre-record or whatever, and do an episode with you and all that, a proper one. Sure. We did on the Loomis show back then, because your stories. And
there's definitely people out there
give them a lot of hope
that need to hear this stuff, man. So because I'm sure there's people out there that were probably not in the same situation, but in a bad situation that need they need hope so that they can see that it is possible to get to where you're at now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've told that to many. I go, look, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. You know what I mean? Like,
same thing.
But what I really want to get recorded on thing is I want to get into Dean's murder. I got to get that story out, man. what the narrative was is total bullshit, you know, right?
Why do you want to say something about it now?
I really want to.
Do you want to say something about it?
Another time, right?
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay. No, I
wanna
didn't
have
know if you were
people on
saying that. I didn't know.
that were
I
there
got you.
when
That's fine. No, I respect that.
But yeah, Loomis.
I'll give a little
something,
teaser. A young kid came down. He came down from Wasaga Beach, and he asked for my protection, okay, because he wanted to blow the whistle on his wife because he was on the inside of the guy that shot him. You know what I mean? He was there listening to all. He was there, and that's why she threatened him, right? You know. So he told me what went down. You know. So, you know, but he's dead. You know, no, but people were there. You know, so I want to do that, right? You know, because I just read an article of this guy being deemed a fucking hero. I go, hero? This, you know, piece of shit? You know what I mean? Right? You know, this guy's in the bank. You don't pay your fucking debts, you're going to get a visit, man. Everybody knows that. You know, and always playing the victim. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, I mean, it just turned my stomach. You know what I mean? Right? So that just kind of you know what? Fuck him. Like, you know what I mean? You know, what a scumbag that he is. He ain't no fucking hero. Like, you know, he invaded a home invader. It was fucking set up. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's sad because he has so much going
curious,
for him,
man.
though. Too. Bobby, do you think it might? And I won't get into detail because we'll save for this. But do you think that Dean was still kind of like that because of what he was looking at? You know what I mean with sentencing and stuff.
I think this time going away because he got sentenced 2 years, and we even talked about it. He goes, everything's changed, bud. Like finally, like sometimes Dean was the kind of guy when you're trying to tell him something, when he's not ready to hear it, you know. Me and him a lot of conflict on stuff, right? Like he was always the first one when I was, you know, going through shit. He was always pulling me up, but it was different with him, right? But this piece of shit they're deeming as a fucking hero, man. You know, you know what?
R.I.P. Dean. I always tell you, Bobby, I wish I could have met him. You know, we talked about him a lot, and he had a lot though going for him, man. A real lot going for him. Good looking guy, great martial artist. He was a tough son of a bitch, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Fucking nobody would take him on. Man. Like, you know.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely get him, do a recording, and you know.
Yes. Yeah, I want to do this, and this story's gonna shake. You ain't gonna believe it, you know. So.
Oh yeah, no, Keith. Yeah, no, it'll be wild though. And
I can't believe the shit I've heard for the past however long we've been on here already.
2 hours and 2 hours and 38 minutes.
That's crazy.
But to me, it doesn't seem like because my life changed so many times, and I blocked things out. It was all about what I'm gonna do tomorrow, right? You know, and survive.
Now you're in the present.
Support, you know, like my friend's
you're in
mother.
The present now. Yeah.
You know, right. So.
And that's what makes right now we've been on for 2 hours and 38 minutes, and it feels like an hour and that's why I wanted to team up with Keith because the first time we talked. It was like over 2 hours too, and I looked. I thought it was like 40 minutes. I'm like, "What are you freaking kidding me?" And Keith's also, you know, he's a cop, but like I always say, he's a brutally honest cop, and he's gonna tell it though like it is, as you could tell. Like you wouldn't even be able to tell.
The only way to tell it, man, you know, right? Mm-hmm. Like
the only way to tell.
I had with cops is when I was coming home from a hockey practice at age 11. And because I wouldn't rat on my friend, because what we used to do was because there was one way in and one way out of our neighborhood, right? And we used to tomato them. Like, just say if they arrested somebody and, you know, we'd be mad at the cops, not the guy that broke the law.
Yeah.
You know? So we used to egg them, you know, get eggs. And we used to, you know, so, okay, they go to a car wash and pay $8 and get their windows fixed, right? But, you know, so because of that, one cop grabbed me off the street, you know, figured I know either I was there, you know, the night before, or I know who did it, right? And I, you know, I'm coming home from hockey practice, and they laid such a fucking beating on me, man, and racially beat, spitting on me and everything, but, like, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Yeah, but you know, the older though you get, though, man.
The indoctrination growing up in, you know, housing projects, you know what I mean? Like, The
Yeah.
cops are always the enemy, right? No reason why. Just there's us and there's them, right? But
Listen, if anyone out there don't think so, they can't do it or they can't make it in life or whatever. Like I always say, Bobby, you had one of the hardest lives growing up that I ever heard of. And to see where you're at now, and you got a fantastic job doing your thing, and just don't go back to that life, buddy. I know it's easier said than done. It's just like not going back to a drug. You're dealing with 2 addictions, not going back to drugs and not going back to that chase.
But
and you know what? The drugs for me, though, I missed the chase too, picking them up.
Yeah, like when I went to Montreal and I came back, man, that was a mistake. I got whirled right in. Well, I was actually set up for that, I didn't really know what was going on down there, and then all of a sudden I'm involved all of a sudden, right? But anyways, I can get into that on the next time too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll set it up though, man. I'll be in touch though with you. We'll definitely set it up though. Whenever the Keith's ready. Usually, if weekends are good sometimes, or even a day during the week, and we'll figure it out though. But we'll definitely set it up because what we want to do on this channel though, like we want to mix it up because you have me and then like you have Keith, but we have no parameters. Like it's not just having law enforcement; it's law enforcement, criminals. Not active though. Ones that change. We want people who change their lives, not glorifying stuff.
Right.
We want people.
I understand. I get it. Yeah, sure. I'm in.
Yeah,
I love. I'd rather talk to people. Rather talk to people like Bobby than cops myself. But
yeah. See what I mean?
I love it.
I found the best cop in the world. You know.
But Loomis, I told when you had to step away, I told Bobby if text him my info. So if he ever needs a
wait, wow, did you already text
him? No problem. Yeah. All right, guys.
Oh, you're telling me to text it to him? Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Yeah. Just But I'll tell you, this has been a pleasure. I'm meeting you, Keith.
You too, bud.
Right,
I look forward to actually. I look forward to hearing more. I want to do it tomorrow, but
right, we'll fill in the hour somehow.
Wait, before you go though, Bobby, because I got to just make sure one thing.
I got a couple of days off work before our next ship comes in, so yeah.
It's impressive, man. It's impressive that how you turn that around.
Thank you for that. It's I look back at
it
like
for a reason,
It's like I did what?
I'm pretty big in the faith stuff, so I think it happened for a reason. I think he chose you to do it for a reason. So
for sure, definitely, definitely, man. We create our own reality and in the path that we take, and it's from the people that we meet, man. Right.
So what I did though is real quick, just so you guys know, Keith, I sent you Bobby's, and then Bobby, I just sent. It's just one of those VW cards.
I got it.
Boom. Check your Bobby. You have your phone by you?
Yeah.
Make sure when you hit on that box though, does his contact info come up?
Yep.
So you got his number, Bobby?
Hang on. Yep, I got it, man. Yep.
Awesome. Got
Keith,
you locked.
I have you. Yeah, because I knew so many other Keiths. I had them labeled though different though. As
what do you have mine? Is Keith the pig or something on there?
No, it's I don't even want to say it because it sounds bad though. But to remember, I'm not even going to say what it says though. But I should.
Well, luckily for you, I only have one Loomis in my phone, bro. So.
No, I know, but it's not bad though. It's nothing bad though towards you. It was just it was before our show, our initial interview. How I would remember you.
Yeah. So, just a real quick funny story. A guy from college. He might even be listening. We were cool. I mean, we were friends. We weren't like really really tight. But he just called. So. Do you remember that show Life Goes On?
Yeah.
So I called him Corky because he looked like the special needs kid in the show.
Right.
And he called me Willow because I'm 5 foot tall. So he called me the other day and he's like, man, I thought I lost your number because I'm sitting there in my phone searching for Keith and searching for Shilby and I couldn't find you because he had me in his phone under Willow still.
No shit. Real quick though, before you go, Bobby, though.
Thank you, Matt. There's the guy, Matt.
I just want to read off a couple of the comment chat.
Yeah.
We usually always get to the chat, but like when we on the lives, don't we have a guest? We want to just hear them. So Annette, thank you. Matt, thank you very much. Kevin Donaldson, thank you very much from the Suffering Podcast. Check them out. My man, Red. Why is your name Reed now? But anyway, Reed. Yo, yo, yo. Oh, wait. What did he say? Loomis, I meant to change my username to Red, not Reed. Oh, okay. Red actually was on with me last night on the Aussie channel. Brett, thank you very much. TD, apart from history, you are Bob. Oh, a part of Canadian history, you are Bob. I'm proud. Yeah.
Oh, that's Talissa. Oh, she's a beautiful girl, and she's
I couldn't
very.
believe it. The first time Keith I interviewed him, I wake up the next day. There's these YouTube channels
mine.
being like, "Oh, Bobby from Canada and Dean and blah blah blah." They were all talking, and then the guys were explaining how perfectly Bobby's story lined up, like with everything with the hash, and then going to see Rizzuto. And what was the man's name with the hash, Bobby?
Renard Desjardins.
Yeah. I mean, Keith, if you look up all these names, they're all.
I'll send Keith.
They're big time.
The YouTube videos if you like.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No. Keith, listen, it's not glorifying. It's just Keith's interested in the history of it, just like me. I like the history of it, and I'm good friends though with a family that used to partake in that, but it was more business like that, and you know what I'm talking about. But it's just, and I have other good friends, like one of my best friends. Her father was one of the most notorious killers out there, but that's not on her. You know what I mean, Linda. So I'll say it right now, Linda Scarpa.
I just think it's. I've always found, like, organized crime stuff very intriguing. I've always been.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and I think I think TV helped with that, but like Bobby's saying, when you're in it, it's not Goodfellas. It's not. Well, they kind of show it good though, because it starts off all great, and then look what happens to them all.
Like anything, you start off here, you go up, and all of a sudden, boom. Right?
And Bobby said it best: "You're only as good as your last envelope."
That's right, man. That's it. Yep. Bottom line. Yep. So.
Bobby, we can't thank you enough, brother.
Yeah, man. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for inviting me, man. It works.
Oh, yeah. The door's open for you anytime, man. Yeah. Always, you know that. And this was fantastic. Keith.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You barely heard anything. Wait till we do the actual show where it's,
All right, man. I'm in.
I told you, I was like, I'm ready to do it. Yeah. I said, I'm ready to do it tomorrow.
What's that?
I said, I'm into it, man. I'm ready to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Tomorrow's good.
I don't know if I can do it tomorrow, but that's how much I want to hear the rest of it.
All right. Yeah, there's so much I haven't even said yet, but
yeah, no.
We'll figure out a good time because I want to hear it all, man.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's quite a story, and I
got to tell you about my friend Steve Turney. His crew was equivalent to the Burks, right? But you know what I mean? I can't wait to get into that with him.
What'd you say, the Burks?
Yeah, his crew was equivalent to the Jimmy Burke crew.
Jimmy, I was going to say, are you talking about Jimmy Burke?
Yeah,
from Goodfellas, Jimmy Conway, but Jimmy Burke out in New York. And then his son, though, is still around. And, Johnny A-Light, though, hung around, though, with those guys and stuff like that. And, real quick, though, what do you think, though, Keith, about a guy like that? I don't know if you know who John A-Light is, but John A-Light's a guy, Bobby, I know you know him.
Yeah.
He's a guy who murdered people. He was John Gotti Jr.'s right-hand man. A lot of people out there are like, oh, he lies. No, maybe he embellishes sometimes, but he was his right-hand man, best man at his wedding, and he was his protection. But now he's a councilman. So I always think that, that white-collar crime, taking money, it's so easy to point on the ex-gangster who killed people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, just remember I was telling you the story when the cop, we're all standing up front raising the flag. We all got our sunglasses on, black leather jackets. Cop stops and he goes, "Hey guys, good guys wear white." You know what I mean? It's the other way around now. The good guys wear black now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
I think
all these financial crimes, these Wall Street assholes. I mean, man, and nobody goes to fucking jail. Sure, they sacrifice somebody that's not.
They all talk and they all plead out.
And the politicians that fucking, have their back and get them off, man.
I mean, it's the same, the way that your buddy waited a year to rob that guy that screwed you.
Yeah.
These guys are doing the same thing, man. They're playing chess, and the Clinton Foundation that didn't give a time to Haiti, but raised $52 million, and
Well, those
their
foundations.
daughter runs the foundation, and whatever. You go from that to even the mysterious deaths of all their assistants.
Oh, the body count under those two.
Wow. Yeah, man, it's they definitely have fought. They'll employ somebody, I think, for 2 and 3 years, and know that that's gonna be the fall guy when it happens, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
100%.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look at the ones that whistleblow. You know,
I don't know
that
that
end up dead pretty good. End up dead really quick.
I don't know the A-Light story. I'm going to look into it for sure. But anyways, who knows, man? He could have gotten that position because he has dirt on those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, he actually didn't even have to do a, what do you call it? He just, one of his friends at there, he didn't even have to do like a voting type thing. I forget though how he got in, but he didn't have like, no, it wasn't dirt on those people. He's just, now if a new governor, if the new governor gets in, he's going for senator.
Yeah.
Fucking Senator A-Light. Guy murdered fucking 5 people.
Well, how many other senators have murdered? Probably more.
Well, I know. No, I know. But I'm saying, though, what's scary, though, in his position, and I give him all the credit in the world, but what's scary for him is it's so easy to point the finger at the ex-mobster.
Yeah.
For sure. Anything else.
But you know what else is scary? 90% of your Congress are dual citizenship at Israel. You know what I mean? All links to AIPAC.
I'll get me started on that one.
Yeah. Hey, I love to talk about that shit, man. They're getting away with literally genocide. Come on. Like, but anyway.
There's just.
All right,
the world is crazy right now.
I feel it. You know what? When that shit goes on, I feel it, man, from here. Those poor kids, the family. Like, I mean, I don't know how anybody can't feel it. You know what I mean? It's a bad ship, and
Who are you talking about? Charlie Kirk?
The mass death that's going on in Gaza. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought you were talking about the guy who just got murdered, though, in front of his family. But yeah, no, America. There's two
he got done because AIPAC gave him $40 million, and then he started talking about the genocide. So
Yep.
That might have something to do with it.
Listen, we're all being controlled. There's, the president isn't the one that's running everything, this and that.
No, they're puppets. They're puppets, man. That's it. Yeah.
Even Putin even said it. Putin's like, Vladimir Putin said something.
The real weapon of mass destruction is television.
But he goes, Putin not the president. It's the ones in the black fancy suits that you don't see are the ones pulling the freaking strings.
Always the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
All right,
well, Bobby, this was amazing. Thank you, my man.
Thanks. Right on, man.
Appreciate you coming on, and I'll be in touch with you. I'll throw you even a call tomorrow, man, when I get time, and then we'll definitely
definitely. We'll have another talk tomorrow, guys. Via phone.
Yeah, via phone or whatever. No, we'll do a conference call or whatever, and then we'll set something up. And then, what was I going to say to you? The pre-record style, and we'll make it nice, man. Like last time, I want Keith to hear everything.
You need something, give me a call, Bobby.
Okay, guys. Thank you again.
Yeah, you got Keith's number. Give him a call anytime.
I will.
Give me a call.
I will, man. I will.
All right, Bobby. Thank you, brother.
Okay,
Bobby,
Bobby.
everyone. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks. Good night. Yep.
So say that again, Bobby. I didn't want to cut you off.
I just wanted to thank everybody who came on tonight, and hey, it was good seeing everybody and hearing from them, and hope to see you next time.
You got it, brother, and they will see you next time, my man.
Have a good night, guys.
Keep moving, Bobby. Keep doing what you're doing. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Okay, bud.
Talk to you soon, brother.
Okay, man.
Take care. Good night. I threw you the fuck off out there for a second, though. I do want to bring up, though, even though we did put up a video, though, today is, though, the 12-year anniversary of the Navy Yard shooting. That Keith, like I always mentioned, was I think he gets aggravated when I do, but was one of the officers, though, first one on the scene, though, and
saved hundreds of lives during the massive shooting at the Navy Yard. Now, Corporal Keith Shibley is being honored for his bravery. The Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority Police Department gave Corporal Shibley its Valor Award today. It is the highest honor given out by that agency. Shipley arrived at Building 197 within minutes of the call for a shooting. He and his partner helped evacuate the building. Back in September, gunman Aaron Alexis killed 12 people at the Navy Yard before being killed himself in a shootout with police.
That's crazy, though, Keith, that you had the balls, though. Like, people watch that stuff in the news, and, like, I'm not saying that they don't give you credit or whatever, but, like, I always say, put yourself in that spot, like, going in there with the cubicles and, like, I mean, stepping over to the security guard's dead body and, like, and you don't know these people. Like, that takes ball. You got balls, man. You got balls.
Yeah, man, I was scared shitless, dude. Like I said.
I know. Well, I know, but, I mean, you still, though, went in there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean,
Crazy shaded going first, like I said that one time.
Yeah, but the calls came in though that they were AK-47s, and that those AK rounds will go right through your vest like nothing.
Yeah, that
Wasn't that what it was initially? 2 AK-47s.
That's what they said. 2 guys with AK-47s. So yeah, I was putting my vest on. I remember I'm like, I don't even know I'm putting this on because it's not going to do nothing for that. But
do the police department have any type of Kevlar, any type of vest that could help with any type of rounds like that, or no?
There's some out there, man. I guess the problem for the everyday cop is they're so heavy.
Yeah.
Like
I figured the weight of them though would have to be crazy.
Like the SWAT teams and all that stuff. SWAT teams and all that stuff, they got them.
And then also, though, obviously, you got ones for knife. I mean, did you see that thing, dude, man, with the guy tackled the guy and the guy who kept trying to stab him down? And luckily, he had his vest on because he would have been done. But he double legged him down. And I think that's why he double. Because if you double leg someone down with a knife, it's not the smartest because then they're just going to stab you. But he probably knew, though, with the vest that he had on, that he would have been all right. But that was crazy, right at that front porch. Keith, that's what I mean. Things can just pop off like that. So you always got to be aware.
They usually do. They usually pop off when you least expect. You're not expecting. Like the Navy Yard was crazy because you had time to think about it before you got there. Usually you don't even have time to think about it. Usually it just pops off and it's over before you can even think about it.
Yeah, but I remember I'm trying to think back like your first fist fight as a kid, like when you get the butterflies and like you know it's coming after school or whatever. Like this is a whole different level. Like you're going there thinking there's 2 AK-47s. Well, there's already a guy killing freaking 11 people. And when they say 12 people got killed, are they including Aaron Alexis?
No, 13 including him.
So 13 including
12
him.
victims, yeah.
So
12 victims. Yeah, I think 8 other people were hurt. Out of those 8, I think 3 of them were shot and survived somehow.
Why did they come over on the report 2 AK-47s? Because people are just used to hearing them on the news, so that they just report.
Man, I tell you, when you get it happens so like when people call 911 and they're freaking out. A lot of times it's not. You'll roll up to something and it's not even close to what it really is.
They're under distress. They're distressed. Yeah.
Like the shooting we had at our department a couple weeks ago, it came out as a check on the welfare of a person. It didn't even come out as like a shoot. So sometimes it just depends on what information they get. It just gets misinterpreted.
So even if you get a call though that doesn't sound so serious though, like a minor domestic or whatever, you're rolling up in there though, ready for shit though to possibly hit the fan, right?
Yeah, I mean sometimes, man.
Not like being a dickhead over aggressive to the people. I'm just saying though, you're aware of everything.
Sometimes, a lot of times, yeah, but like especially like when I was in Richmond and it was domestic after domestic after domestic after. I mean, it was just like sometimes you just walk up there like, Jesus Christ, another one of these. And that's bad because then a lot of times if something pops off, then you're just not ready for it. So you have to try to be non-complacent. But especially, if you work in an area that's stuff doesn't pop off a lot, you get complacent sometimes. Like I'll see people, I'll be driving down the road and I'll see a cop like standing right in the driver's side window instead of kind of off to the side, and they're standing right there. And it's like it's not safe, but cops get complacent sometimes, man.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's just crazy that you never know when you are going what you're walking into. So I always say every day, man, like you strap on a boots, you strap on your work clothes, and you go out there and you get your coffee, and then you get in the car every day. You don't know what you're going to see or what's going to happen or if you're going to come home. So that same day, 12 years ago, how was your day before that call?
Oh, man, it was first thing. I got to work at 8.
Oh, didn't it happen like at 8 a.m.?
I got to work at probably right just before 8. Call came out at 8:15, and I think we went in at like 8:21. So yeah, I just got to work.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The second you go, man, that's just all of it. It's that's crazy though, man. And they said I saw that news thing though. They gave you the highest award though, but they know did the feds give you some shit?
The feds weren't happy with me that day. Because I was
because you got the credit.
No, it's because I was supposed to go to the command post. It's like the feds aren't. They're law enforcement, but they're not generally first responders. Usually like cops go and then they come in and
yeah.
So, when I responded for them, I was supposed to go to a command post and just, I guess, feedback information. I don't know, but with me and my partner being street cops, we're taught differently, so that's what we did. And they were not happy that we just ran into the building, but.
And also, folks, I put it up today on the Navy Yard shooting, where there's the news coverage and where Keith is talking about it. So if you want to check out that video, that's in the video section that we just dropped before the interview with Bobby. We definitely want to give a big shout out again, though, to Mr. Bobby Bright, RIP to Dean Copkov. And Bobby, thank you so much, though, man, for coming on. Your story's inspiration. And dude, man, when he told me, though, man, that time, man, we were talking, I remember, I think I was over at Joe's house, Buffalinos, and he told me, he's like, I don't know if you ever heard of this, though, with the superheroes, though, on the building. I was like, yeah, I remember watching that. Like he started that. But then, though, they ended up trying, the same thing I was telling you about that John guy, they ended up, though, trying to pin and shit, though, on Bobby because he's ex-criminal, whatever. So it's like your past always follows you, it seems like, in ways. It could. And so no matter how good you do, but is it karma too for some stuff you did? You never know, and Bobby, that's something I'd like to ask Bobby too. Like,
man, I'll tell you what, that was a crazy fucking story. And I can't wait to hear what else. And it just makes me feel really fortunate about my own childhood and stuff, man. You think you ever got it bad? You listen to something like that.
Dude, negative 68 degrees, sleeping.
When
I first talked to him and he's talking to me for an hour, I thought he was talking about like when he was 30 fucking 5. I'm like, so how old were you when you did all this stuff? He's like, I'm 17. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's like a career, it was just, I don't know, man, his story's
to make it out of that life and to make it out of a heroin addiction. It's like, wow.
Well, yeah. And think about it though. That's the only life he knows. It's the only, in his mind. And think about that. He's sitting with his sister his mom just abandoned him, and he's by himself with his sister. And fucking, they both took off outside and run it. Like, yeah, man, like that's a tough fucking life. And remember how he's even saying, I'm under a car, I'm sleeping here, and then you start thinking tears will drop down, but then you got to fucking do that. Like, that's crazy. And that's why sometimes I used to get mad at myself. Like, I used to say something, and this girl would tell me, "Don't ever say that." When I'm like, well, no matter what, someone has it though worse than you. But for me personally, though, that did help me at times. Like in times of weakness, I would think of certain stories and they would help me. You know what I mean? And like we both come from good families and stuff like that. And I was a troublemaker my whole fucking life. I don't know why. My brother's the head of the fucking probation department in the whole entire county. And then you got me. And well, I'm good now, but I'm just saying though that I guess it doesn't. I mean, Carmine Persico, who was one of the biggest mob bosses of all time, from the Colombo family he took over, he came from a great family too, and this and that, and he was like one of the most ruthless, mobsters. Whitey Bulger, look at his brothers, that president of the Senate, and he was a freaking vile, insane, freaking. It's just, I don't know if it's upbringing obviously has stuff to do with it, but then I see people, though, who grew up, though, on the streets, and maybe it made them more hungry to be successful, and they were successful.
Yeah, it's just the choices you make as you're coming up, dude. It's a chain reaction sometimes.
That's it. And, folks, please give a like and subscribe to this. Bobby, if you're still watching, thank you very much, man. We can't wait, though, man, to hear, though, the rest. And RIP again to Dean. And guys, check out the Navy Yard shooting and props to you, Keith, because, to have the balls to run in there and not thinking there's AKs going and the high cubicles, the whole nine. Check that video out, guys. It's in the video section. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. A lot of great interviews. I can't mention one, right? Well, two, actually three that we already have. Also, too, Tom and Gene, they were great. I love Gene, dude. You could just tell that she's just so like they're so supportive of each other. Like I love just watching, like from editing that and watching them. Like they're fantastic. So if you guys missed the 9/11 one that we did on them too as well, that's part one. Check that out. Part two, I'm gonna try to get up though by Thursday. It's just that it's my situation. It's just hard at times, man, to be able to get stuff.
Completely get it, man. Yep.
I showed you some stuff yesterday and you're like, I don't know how you do it, but I'm just saying I do it because I was a fuck up man my whole life. And now I could be here. And like yesterday, like one of my family members said that, not my brother, another, but they're like, your life isn't, your life is on hold right now. But I love what Kevin said to me, Donaldson. Kevin Donaldson's like, no, your life is not on hold. You're supposed to be exactly where you're supposed to be. Yep. You're fucking giving back. You're helping and doing this and that. Because I always say my life's on hold as fact of like, I always know like, I never like lived here, always had my job, always had a place, whether I had a girl, this or that. And then this happened. But my point being is I don't look at it anymore as my life's on hold. I look at it as this is a part of my life that's not on hold. And it's just so fortunate that I'd be dead if I was still out there ripping and running and this happened. And then I would never be able to forgive myself. So I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be.
You are, man. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So the fucking show comes out when it comes out. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Dude, how about this live is 3 hours? And that's better though for the channel because the watch time hours, the more you get, the better. So 3 hours and 6 minutes, dude. Yeah. And Bobby barely scratched on the surface though. But no, he tells
him all night.
Oh, he's fine. He's great, dude. Bobby's the man. And we're definitely gonna book him up though. But folks, Thank you all for watching. And we really appreciate you though very much. Keep hang tight for a second. And everyone, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we will see you next time on Mind Over Madness. Take care, everyone.